I don't like being invited to a party by somebody I don't know that well and being asked to bring meat. Hi. Hey, everybody. How's it going? What's happening? I'm plugging things in. I'm going to plug my phone in. I had to change. I'm a little bit late. I'm 19 minutes late today. Because all right, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to talk about it. I'm just going to say it because maybe I shouldn't. Should I not? Maybe I shouldn't.
No, I say get into it.
No, I'm not going to. I can't. Casey, you know it's a secret still. Listen, guys, when I can tell you, I will tell you. But basically what happened is something having to do with a major secret. No, I'm kidding. But, I'm kind of kidding. But Birdie was doing, like, where I have my podcast equipment set up here in Charleston. Basically, I went in to start doing the podcast on time.
On time. You were on time. Yeah. Best intentions.
On time.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you this. The fact that I'm like fucking sitting up straight is a goddamn miracle because I have had the most insane. How many days has it been?
It's
6?
It's almost been one really
something?
long day.
Yeah, it's been a long, well, for sure, like the last 5 years or whatever. Yes. But,
yeah, like there's been a long weekend, long life, long day. Yeah.
But Ashley Ray, our guest co-host today, you can see her comedy on HBO. Yeah. What's it called, Ashley?
HBO Max.
HBO Max.
Guys, what's the difference? It's all the same.
You would think, but like it is like I feel like HBO Max is like the cooler, younger, queer cousin of HBO. Like it has like it has like the purple blue lighting but it is like they're separate.
It's like
queer.
the Virgin America of
it's like very like the hip
HBO.
HBO.
Yes. Also, I want people to know. This is Casey. I want people to know because I'll be the one that gets the messages, being like, "Where is Ashley Ray's comedy on Instagram?" And I'll be like, "Oh Lord, HBO Max.
HBO Max."
Yeah, it's their queer comedy showcase. Megan Stalter is part of it. A bunch of hilarious people. So go check it out.
Everybody, let's check it out. So Birdie's doing a thing like in the little office below on the first floor where I was like on the second floor and had all my stuff set up. And I didn't realize that I would be able to like clearly hear every word Birdie was saying.
Gotcha.
Birdie was like Birdie's doing a thing that's pretty cool, and I think I'll be able to talk about it in a few weeks, but I don't want to talk about it yet. No. That this is the surprise thing. It's not a surprise. I don't know what. It's not a surprise. It's just like I don't want to.
It's none of our. Anything. It's none of our business.
Yeah. We just can't talk about it yet.
Yeah.
It's none of our business yet. There you go. Great. But part of the thing was they're on this call. Right? They're on a call. My kid is almost 13 on their own calls, guys.
I love that.
And so they're on a call. And like I said, I sat down to do the thing, put my headphones on, and I was like, who's that? I haven't signed on to Zoom yet. Who is that? I can hear every word of this thing. So I had to like get all my equipment and move it. And then the wires got tangled. You know me and wires.
Yeah.
It's a constant battle, Ashley.
It's a constant battle.
Ashley, do we do Ashley Ray always, or can we just go Ashley?
Just Ashley. Oh yeah.
But Ashley Ray does sound so nice.
It does, yeah.
Together.
Like people like the rhythm of it. Ashley Ray. A lot of people think that my first name is Ashley Ray, like, you know, I'm a trailer park girl or something like that.
Sure.
But yeah, I love it.
Also, you don't have to be from a trailer park to enjoy a first and middle name together.
That's true. But I always think of like the Anna Rays, like the just sure. Yeah, like I don't know. There's something about that rhythm.
It's very Southern to have.
Yeah, it is
like
Southern.
Very Americana, like.
Yeah. Speaking of my child, Birdie Lee. People Birdie like Lee. Sometimes people think that we call Birdie Lee.
Yeah.
We don't.
Oh.
But
I used to work with a woman named Sarah Brady. And that was her name.
Like you had to say Sarah Brady every time.
Sarah Brady.
Wait,
that sounds silly.
Her middle name was Brady?
Yeah, that's the last name.
That was just like her name, Sarah Brady. And then her last name was like a whole other long name.
I can't. Sarah Brady, get it together.
That's a bit much.
She was beautiful. I wasn't going to step to her. I
feel like it has to be one syllable. That's it. Like, you only get one syllable to make that work. Otherwise, you're doing too much.
Yeah. And let's not forget Sugar Ray. I mean, the most fun party band of all time.
Sugar Ray. I like how you said that. I like where you put the emphasis on Sugar Ray. Instead of Sugar Ray.
Yeah.
I always put the emphasis on Ray, but the way you did it was just so nice, Caissie. I enjoyed it. It gave it a different feeling. It gave it a different weight. You know what I mean?
I consider the band in like a totally different light now.
Kind of me too.
Well, good. Because
I have to tell you. So this is why I'm barely able to stand in this moment. Well, I mean, I definitely am not standing. I'm sitting for sure, 100%. Also, I do want to say, I mentioned this in our interview today with SuChin Pak. Caissie, this is back to the beginning, man. This is where it all started for us. Yes. The podcast almost a year ago. We started recording the podcast while I was in this home in Charleston during the pandemic. And I was, it's our friend's beautiful home that they very generously let us stay in for like a month every year. And this is when we started, and we were like in lockdown still. I basically didn't leave this house, but it's a really nice house, so it was okay.
Yeah.
And we started doing our podcast from here.
Yeah.
And Danny McBride was I think he was our first interview, or was Gillian our first interview?
I think Danny was our first.
I think he was, yeah. Because I was just like, will you just do this from, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's a good first interview. Yeah.
Yeah. He's super fun. But so we're back here. We came back last week, and Ashley Ray, my husband, Mark Silverstein, turned 50 years old.
Yay!
On July 1st. Yeah.
He's a Cancer then, right?
He's a Cancer. I'm a Cancer. So I turned some age a week ago. A week and a half ago.
Not 50.
No, I turned 42. I turned 42. Although,
do you do the joint birthday, or are you very much like, I get my birthday week, you get your birthday week? Like,
it's an interesting question. It's an interesting question because it was established very, very early on in our relationship. Actually, like the beginning of our relationship, it was established that we were never to have a joint birthday.
Wow.
And that was actually weirdly not my doing. And it was kind of like an early, it was like a thing that was like really hard for me in the beginning of our relationship, because he actually did do a joint birthday party with another girl who he was friends with, who was also an actress and also younger than me. Anyway, It was fraught.
Okay.
I know, right? But then I had to like just be the bigger person and understand. That's a journey we don't need to get into. We've gone through therapy about that.
But I need to get into it.
I got real with,
but you don't need to be here.
You want to get into it? You want to get into it?
That one, yeah. Wow.
I mean,
guys, this is full on 17 years ago.
Wow.
17 years ago. So this is a long fucking time.
A lifetime ago.
Yeah. A lifetime ago, where everybody was different people. The point being, listeners, now I've been listening to Bowen Yang and Matt Rogers' amazing podcast, Las Culturistas.
Yes.
And so now I keep thinking I'm going to say readers, because they say readers about their listeners, which I think is also appropriate. Like, I do love when people are like, reader, she cried, or whatever. Like, I do love that device, that framing device.
I love it, yeah.
It never gets old to me, but listeners. So our listeners who are fans of mine that predate the year 2020 may remember my 40th birthday. I threw myself essentially a wedding in Mexico, like my own wedding, Ashley.
Yeah,
that I planned, and it was a destination event, and I did this huge party for myself that literally looked like. It was a banger. It literally looked like a wedding. It was so much fun. And like it was everything I love. Like, it was just perfect for me.
Yeah.
So Mark is, about to turn 50, or was turning 50 this year. And several months ago we were like, is it even possible that that vaccines will happen by July, that we could celebrate your birthday with people? And I at the time was like 70-30 no. Like I didn't think it was going to happen.
Right.
I really was like, no fucking way.
Yeah.
And then, boy, those vaccines really got out there.
Yeah, it was like
it
was like a slow rollout, and then all of a sudden it was just like you can get them
a real
anywhere.
fast rollout. Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's exactly right. It was a real slow rollout, and then it was a real fucking fast rollout. So, so then it looked like likely that we could maybe have like a party for Mark's 50th, and so I was like, let me help you. Let me like help you plan it, and let's do it in Charleston. I asked my friend whose house this is if they would mind if we had a party here. And it's probably going to be like, 15, 20 people or something in their backyard. And like, not a big deal. Okay. So then people just started saying yes. Like, yes, we will travel to Charleston. Yes, we want to come to this.
Yeah, everyone is so eager to party now. And people, like you sent an invite out, people are going to say yes. Like it is, there's no more like flaking. Everyone is all in on hanging out now.
Oh my God, Caissie, did I tell you who I accidentally sent an invite to though?
Oh no, who?
Well, no, one of our producers from Busy Tonight, Janae Copeland.
Oh yeah.
I know, but like, there's no reason why she would be
with Mark.
No, there's no reason why she would be invited to Mark's 50th birthday. But our other friend Julian's wife's name is Janae, and so I just like clicked it on the paperless post or whatever.
Yeah.
And Janae was like, so nice. I don't think I'll be able to make the trip. I was like,
but
oh no.
Also, Janae
so
would
sweet.
be so fun to have at any party, no matter.
Are you kidding? The most fun.
Yeah. So like, if
kind
she
of
had
sad
been able,
she didn't come.
Yeah.
Anyway, there was no rescinding the invitation. I was excited that she got it. That I just was like, oh God, that was not the right Janae. Anyway, the point being, 60 people later.
Oh,
I'm like, I don't have we're not in Charleston. I don't have like a party planner hired. We've gotten since we've spent so much time here in the last 6 years or 7 years. I guess 7 years. Oh my God. This is our 7th summer here.
wow.
We know a ton of people locally, and so we do have like a lot of local friends as well. But we had this amazing 167 Raw Catering, which is like a restaurant here. It's like raw bar, fish, seafood type restaurant. People literally wait in line. This is not a joke. People wait in line like 3 hours for lunch at this place, which, by the way, it is so fucking delicious. And like, if you have no other choice and you have to wait in that line, I say, suck it up and do it.
The only thing I'll wait in line for is food. That's it.
I'm actually, you know what? I'm actually the same.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I will wait for.
Yeah. A roller
really
coaster,
good food.
No thank you. Like a concert, no. But like really good food, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you ever come to Charleston, 167 Raw is worth the wait.
I'm ready.
So we had that. So we had them hired to cater, and then I found just Googling, I found these really cute, woman-owned business, Chug-a-Lug Wagons. They like do parties and weddings and stuff in Charleston, and they come with like little vintage trailers, and they serve the cocktails out of it, you know. So I had them hired, and Casa Dragones was like so nice and sent a bunch of tequila for Mark, because Bertha, who is the owner of Casa Dragones, is the best. Non-spawn guys, just like she just did it to be nice. For his birthday. And then I got these people we'd had their treats last year. Picked them up and ate them. Who's barking?
It's my dog, because Lincoln's not here.
Birdie? Is it Birdie?
No, it's Millie. And
Millie.
Lincoln usually babysits the dogs while we're doing the podcast, but he's watching Ashley Nicole Black's dog today. And Millie's very mad about it.
VIP dog needed, yeah.
Millie needs, why didn't you get Millie a bath today or something?
She's very mad that Lincoln's gone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She's not a good girl.
Oh, Millie.
Millie's
Calm
a
down.
bad girl.
Okay, wait. So listen. So there's this company called Life Raft Treats here in Charleston, and it's the most amazing thing in the world. Well, the thing that we had last year, They brought a truck, like a dessert truck. They make these like ice creams that look like little fried chicken legs.
Yeah, like fried, I've seen those. Yeah,
it
fried chicken.
Looks exactly like they look exactly like fried chicken. They also made a ham sandwich that was so delicious. It was like strawberry shortcake flavored ham sandwich, but it looked like a ham sandwich.
Yeah.
And then they had like other ice cream bars and treats and things. But they you have to look on their Instagram because it's like the coolest stuff ever. And then I was like thinking about what like Mark is into. I feel like my thing is not charging, my Zoom recorder, Caissie. Okay, well, let's hope it doesn't die. Okay, all right. We're just going to go until, whatever. So then I was like, what does Mark love? And Mark really loves live music. And we haven't, this is a person who, has gone to every single Coachella since like year 3, I think was the first one he went to. But he loves band, loves seeing live music, loves seeing bands, whatever. So a friend of ours was coming, Phil Morrison. You know Phil, right, Caissie?
I know Phil. Yeah, he's great.
He's the best. I've known Phil for so long. And he's really close with Mac. He's the guy that was in Superchunk.
Oh, Superchunk, from Superchunk, yeah.
From Superchunk, and he started Merge Records.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so Superchunk is like one of Mark's like old school faves. And so I just like emailed Mac. I just texted him like, I know this is like kind of out of nowhere, and I don't know how you feel about this at all. And I don't know if this is anything you would ever consider, but is there any way you would want to like come do an acoustic like live set and play music at this party? And he was like, yes, I would totally be down for that.
That's amazing.
I know. So he came, and then there's this band Pine Grove.
I love Pine Grove, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So do we. And the kid, Evan, from the lead singer guy, I had done like a Q&A thing for them when they had their movie that came out in January last year. And so I had his email. So I emailed him, was like, hey, do you have any interest in doing this? And he was like, yeah, that sounds super fun. And so then I was like, I booked a full show. But then I had to get like PA equipment. Anyway, the point being, I realized that I didn't hire anyone to do anything else. So like I had people coming to do stuff. Like there were caterers.
Yeah.
There were drink people. But everything else, it was me and Ray Padilla and Emily Beebe.
You fully produced a festival.
We produced a festival. We put together, Ray drove out to North Charleston and got cocktail tables from some rental place. We put them together. We strung lights and hung things. And then I was freaking out about I was like, oh, the day of, I was like, I forgot about flowers. And really, guys, I think flowers are the thing you need to make everything festive.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I really think it is true.
It is the final touch. It isn't real if there aren't flowers.
Exactly. And I because I know this woman here, the name of her company is CC Bloom, which I love because it's also Bette Midler's name from Beaches.
Yes. Yes.
But her name is CC, and so CC Bloom. CC Bloom! Anyway, but I had forgotten to hire her. And we're in the middle of peak Charleston wedding redo season. I'm sure everybody, she's got to be busy. But I drove to Trader Joe's. And you guys, I got the most beautiful flowers I have ever seen in my life at Trader Joe's here in Charleston. So beautiful, these flowers.
Yeah.
Anyway, I did call Cece and she's like, I'll come over. I actually am free at 3. I'll come over and help you put stuff together. So she came over and just kind of helped me and was cute and was so nice and didn't need to do it. But that was really sweet. And then Summer, who does our podcast merch.
Yes.
I had reached out to her and she made giant beach towels with Mark's face on them.
I love that. That's a really good
we're here
gift.
at the beach.
Yeah.
And then I had like water bottles made. But I've been doing all of this myself and like not delegating because I didn't really have anyone to delegate to anyway. And I mean, yes, Ray, but Ray is doing like a million other things and whatever. Yeah. So I maybe over ordered the water bottles by like 200.
But I mean, 200.
Well, encourage people to stay hydrated, right? Like,
now I'm like, what do I do with all of they're in the basement here at this house. What do I do with them? And then I was like, should we sell them to our listeners for charity? Would you guys want Mark Silverstein's face on a nice stainless steel water bottle?
Cute. Yeah.
It's Emily Beebe did like a nice little graphic design thing.
He's a handsome man.
Sure. Yeah. I just don't know what to do. It's just like an outline of his face and it says 50 on it. So I just don't know what to do with them. And then same with the tote bags. I over-ordered those by about 200 as well. I just don't know what happened. I just was like, I wasn't paying attention. I just kept I was like doing it all.
It's happened to all of us.
Yeah, like you overestimate. You're like, it's better to have too many than not enough. And I feel like just like hand it out to like some cool kid influencers. They'll walk around with it and everyone will be like, I need that like cool stainless steel water bottle that says 50. Oh my gosh, what is that?
Okay. I actually like this. I like this.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do some like maybe if we ever do live shows, I'll just bring them and we'll sell them at our live shows.
Just like
be special merch.
Mark. I mean, that's for the biggest busybodies. Is that what we call the listeners of this podcast?
I really hope not. I hope not, but I hope that's not a thing.
Business people.
Each and every day I wake up and I put on my each and every deodorant.
That was a good one. Yeah. I felt like that was very early 80s.
It's true, though. It's a true story, guys. You know what I look forward to in the summer? I look forward to beach time and I look forward to the heat. I actually am a person, I really like heat.
Yeah.
But I don't like smelling bad. Who wants to smell bad?
Not a lot of people do.
I don't want to put chemicals on my body. Who wants to do that? I want natural deodorant that actually works, that keeps you smelling great. That's why we use Each and Every. I also love that it doesn't leave marks on my dresses because if you know anything about me, I am a little bit like a bull in a china shop. And that goes for everything from actually being in a china shop to putting on my deodorant, face creams, everything gets everywhere on me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And Each and Every does not get on my beautiful little dresses. And I'm here for it. I love it. There's so much to love about Each and Every. It's gender neutral. I use it. Mark uses it. Birdie uses it.
Yeah, got to get it on those teens and tweens.
Everybody uses it. And it's made with just 6 simple, safe ingredients. It's free of aluminum, parabens, other chemicals. And the scents come from essential oils and extracts, no synthetic fragrances, so it doesn't give me a headache. And it's very sensitive skin friendly. You guys, I love this product. They're vegan and cruelty free. The sugarcane packaging is sustainably made. And if that wasn't enough, Each and Every has been found to fight odor as well as an antiperspirant, but without aluminum, obviously. That's pretty major.
Very impressive.
So guys, Each and Every is an everyday essential. Please try it. We have a special deal just for our listeners, 30% off your first purchase. Visit our URL, eachandevery.com/best and use promo code BEST30. Don't wait. Get your 30% off now. Get those pits smelling good. Use promo code BEST30 at eachandevery.com/best. Beekeepers, naturals, what you gonna keep the bees for? That's not a good one. You guys, we're gonna forget. We're just gonna move on from that one.
I mean, it makes sense. Bees, we keep them for a lot of things, but this is one very important reason.
It's for Beekeepers Naturals. We love them. When it comes to feeling 100% or close, we need to have a proactive, not a reactive mindset to our health and well-being. Beekeepers Naturals is disrupting the traditional medicine cabinet by creating nature-powered formulas that work to support your immune system, brain health, and energy levels every single day. I love these products. Yeah. I really do. I love them. It also is a female-founded company. Founder Carly Stein was inspired to reinvent the medicine cabinet when she discovered propolis, a powerful ingredient that bees use to protect their hive from germs. And propolis is used for a lot of things. And Carly was like, this is the first thing that actually made her feel like her health was in her hands. And so she decided to tackle modern health issues from stress-based low immunity to brain fog and energy through ingredients found in nature. I love the Bee Immune Propolis Throat Spray. I also use it, listen, when I know I'm going to be in a crowd of people. Yeah. I like to just give myself a little protection. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like it for allergies.
I like it for allergies, but it's like a hand sanitizer for your throat. You know what I mean? That's what I like in it too. I'm like, oh, don't worry about it, guys. It's just my hand sanitizer for my throat. I'm just keeping it real anti-bac in there.
Yeah,
because I wish I'd had it last year when I got the strep throat, but I didn't have it yet. Now I know.
Right, now you know.
Things might have worked out different for me.
Well, thank goodness you have it now.
I have it now, and I take it out of my little purse and I spritz it whenever I'm like, there's too many people around. Anyway, today Beekeepers Naturals is offering you an exclusive offer. Go to beekeepersnaturals.com/busy or enter code busy at checkout to get 20% off your first order. That's BeekeepersNaturals.com/busy. Start feeling better every day today. You can also find Beekeepers Naturals nationwide at over 2,000 stores like Target, Whole Foods, and Sprouts. So his 50th birthday was on July 1st. Cricket turned 8 on July 2nd. And I had like a whole debacle trying to get this cake pan to make her a birthday cake that she wanted. That seems like such ancient history at this point, because then I had the party on Saturday night. It was so fun and so wild and really, really fun. And the music was incredible. And the food is incredible. Everything. It couldn't have been better. Could not have been better. Oh my God. And Cricket was like front and center watching Evan play and sing, and I was like, and mouthing the words to his songs, but doesn't fully know the words to the songs. So it's kind of just like making it up.
She was just
she was feeling it. She was feeling the live music so hard that it was like crushing me. Like it was the cutest. It was the cutest thing.
Please,
I have a picture. It's really cute, and then the next day was the 4th of July. And so we had said to like friends who weren't leaving that day, like, it's just an open house, come over. And I didn't even realize it was like, we had a full on other party the next day. It was.
Should have given away those water bottles.
Yeah, the water bottles and tote bags.
I did. They all took them. Everybody took them. It was 60. It was like 60, but not 60 people. It was like 30 people the next day.
Wow.
It was too much. So anyway, I'm real tired.
Yeah. You're real tired. Well, I will say that I'm very sorry that I wasn't able to make it to South Carolina. Matt and I are sorry that we weren't able to make it for Mark's party, but I emailed him to say happy birthday, and he just said such nice things about how much work you had put into the party and how thoughtful it was. I'm sure he told you himself.
Yes.
But word on the street,
word's not wrong.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was really appreciated and noticed.
That's really nice.
I mean, this sounds amazing. It started with this like, oh, maybe 15 people to like, and then I have Pine Grove and I have like, I have all of these flowers and super chunk. Like, that's amazing.
I know. It was pretty crazy. It was crazy. I felt very proud of myself that I pulled it off. I couldn't have done it without BB, of course. Emily Beebe always comes in a pinch.
Who can do anything without Emily Beebe?
So true.
Yeah.
She was really like the star of the party, I have to say.
Really?
Yeah. But then there were like one of my like friends here from here, fully brought like 4 of their friends. Like she did not tell me she was bringing. And so like I look over and there were like these 4 people like literally in bathing suits and tank tops. And I'm like, who the fuck are these party crashers? And I beelined. Like I would be so scared of me if I were not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I am. I think it's so funny because Paget Brewster always says that I'm scary. And I always am like, Paget, that's insane. I'm not scary at all. And then I saw it like I was a little stoned, but I did see it like as I was walking towards those people, like, oh, I'm terrifying. I'm like a scary person sometimes.
You're like, intense.
Yes.
You can be intense. And also, I think that like, not that you're wrong, but like when you're upset first, ask questions later sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's like when you have to turn on that intimidating presence when you're like, who are you? What are you doing here? Like, it's like, you can get it on.
Trying to protect your husband's party.
Yeah.
Well, here's really was my overarching feeling in my trying to figure out who these party crashers were. I just wanted to make sure that they were not Trump voters.
Oh yeah,
that was literally reasonable.
Yeah,
I swear to God, that was
in South
literally
Carolina. That is a concern. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. So I just was like, if they are party crashers, like if they are not here with anyone, they just like saw the party and thought it was like good opportunity to like have a drink or whatever. I am going to ask them who they voted for.
Yeah.
But then when they said that they were here with Grace, I was like, oh, Grace and I threw a Jamie Harrison fundraiser together. Like, I know Grace.
Yeah.
Grace is like, I am.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, you're fine. And then she apologized later. Like, I'm so sorry I brought the people. I like didn't, I honestly like just, it was like, and I was like, Grace, it's no big deal. I just wanted to make sure they didn't vote for Trump. Yeah. That's it.
That's it. Enjoy the party.
Yeah, exactly. You have to be, people get really presumptuous about parties. And so I don't blame you for like, whatever you want to check people on, you're allowed to. If you're
it's
throwing
your
a party. Like whether they voted for someone, if that's what you want to check or what, like even like weddings, like people are like, oh, I hope you don't care that I brought like my dog groomer or whatever people are wild about when, that when we lived in Connecticut, we would throw those ginormous like Thanksgivings for like, we would throw Thanksgiving for like whoever was like in New York City but couldn't get back home to like their family or whatever. And so like, and then one time like the local paper did a story on how we would throw these like big Thanksgivings and we would basically turn our entire house, because we didn't live in a big house, but we would turn our entire house into like a dining room and like turn our deck into like an outdoor dining room so that we could fit like 60 people. But the year that came out, people like found our phone number and called us and were like, hey, can our nanny have Thanksgiving dinner at your house? And I was like, your nanny? Why can't she have dinner at your house where she takes care of your kids?
It's like, that's weird.
Yeah. Where you trying to pawn someone off.
People just turn wild over parties. So you have every right to make a beeline toward anyone at a party and be like, what are you doing here? What is your business?
I really related to what you said about being really stoned, because I feel like when I am known for like really big New Year's Eve parties. Like that's what I love throwing. Like I love it. I used to live in this like 3-bedroom apartment, and one year I had like a weed room where I had like a tray of edibles and like tons of joints, and like one room that was the coat room, but also there were mirrors and people were obviously doing coke and stuff in there. And it was just like this giant party, and so many, like, I just get stoned and don't remember who even comes to my parties. And then like there are still people who come up to me and they're like, that 2017 New Year's Eve party, your place was so amazing, Ashley. And I'm like, I've never met you in my life. But I'm so glad you had fun.
Ashley, this is how provincial I am. I was like, you were like, there was a weed room and there were edibles. And I'm like, I get that. I like totally, my brain got that. Yes. And then you were like, then there was a coat room with mirrors. And I thought you were going to say, and people were obviously trying each other's coats on in that room, looking in the mirror.
Yeah.
But you said they were doing cocaine. And I was like, oh, yeah. I get it. Okay.
I want to say I'm a very innocent girl. I was like, that'll be cute for photographs, like this cool table that's a mirror. And my friend was like, Ashley, no, I just thought it would be a funny play on words to have the coat in the Coke room. And I was like, that's not even a play on words. That's just the two words that kind of sound the same.
Well, listen, I mean, you're going to go down in history for that 2017 New Year's Eve party.
Yeah, people still will be like, that party was so good. And I'm just like, I truly don't remember you. I remember the day afterwards I had to clean up and I had white walls and there were just like denim blue butt prints from people grinding on the wall. And I was just like, how do I get this
my
off?
God. I have to say, it is like there are two types of people. You already, I can tell because you had the coat/Coke room, that there are people who really fucking know how to throw a party properly. And then there are people who like invite you to a party and then they're like, hey, would you mind bringing a bottle of something on your way over? And listen, I have no shade to like, or you show up and it's just like, it's like a huge party and there's just like a table with bottles on it.
And half of them are
you're
empty.
Supposed to, right. And I'm like, I just think there's a way to do like a party on a budget where you don't like have to spend so much money, but still make it like you can do like little pre-mixed, pre-batched cocktails, do it yourself, DIY. I'm like all about that, but I want things to like, I want to feel taken care of if you're inviting me to a party.
Yeah. And I mean? For me, it's like, okay, the first 50 people, you're getting free edibles. And then I also had like a giant table with like 80 bottles of Coke champagne. Because you can get it really cheap in bulk from Binny's. It's very cheap. You can get like 20 bottles for like $30.
There you go.
I love this.
There you go.
So
I mean, there's a difference between like a casual backyard thing and like a legit party.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just mean like I have occasionally been invited over to, I just feel like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I always just get annoyed. I get annoyed when people aren't really considerate of their party guests. And I try to always think about everything.
Yes. I feel like 4th of July is the holiday where people do that the most with their parties. Like you get invited to some big 4th of July party and you show up and there's like 1 pack of hot dogs and a thing of hummus and like a case of PBR and you're like, this is not enough food for all the people here. Like, what do we do?
I don't like being invited to a party by somebody I don't know that well and being asked to bring meat.
Yeah. Like,
oh my God.
Or to bring a dish or something. And I'm just like, I don't.
Yeah, it's like, I don't need this. Like, if there are fun, I have enjoyed like a potluck or like a traveling, if that's like the thing of the party.
Yeah.
And I always offer you, like, if there's like a casual summer BBQ or whatever, what can we bring? And I love when people are like, what can we bring? But I also like it when I say, honestly, we have everything. Please don't bring anything.
Don't bring anything.
And people show up like having taken my word for it. I really sometimes don't love.
I hate
when people show up with their own fucking weird thing that I'm like, well, this doesn't go with my Mexican themed dinner party.
Right? It's like, did you doubt my ability to throw a party? Did you doubt my ability to be like the party queen? I know what I'm doing.
Unless you have like terrible allergies or something, some extenuating, extenuating circumstances, you're going to die if you eat like
like you need to bring your
artisanal
own
pizzas or
whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
You guys, I got for our party, we ordered from the vegan restaurant in downtown Charleston because the caterers didn't do vegan food. Yeah. They're like, the chips and guac are vegan. I'm like, well, this is like dinner pass, not sit down, but still, like, you can't expect vegans to like just eat chips and guac.
Yeah.
So we ordered all this stuff. Ray went and picked it up, and then I asked the caterers to like heat it up and put it out for the vegans.
Yeah.
And like, because I don't think you should. I think even if you do have dietary restrictions, if you let your party host know ahead of time. Am I writing a book right now?
Yes,
how to?
I think so.
Yeah,
sounds like it. It sounds like it. Oh my gosh! And I always try to whenever people say we have everything covered, don't bring anything, just bring yourselves. Please understand that when I try to get further information out of you, it's because of my past trauma with this situation. Because my father was classic for inviting me to a dinner or a barbecue, always with like whoever I was dating, being like, come over for a barbecue or come over for dinner. And then I'd say, what can I bring? Can I cook something? Can I bring something? And he would say, nothing. Just bring yourselves. And then I would be like to whoever I was dating, and I would always have the same face on. My dad wants us to come over for a barbecue or for dinner, but I would know what would happen every fucking time. We would go, there would not only not be a barbecue or a dinner, there would just not be anyone there. It would just be my dad being like surprised, like, oh, hey, nice to see you. Come on in. I'm not dressed.
What are you doing here?
Yeah, come on in. What a surprise. And I'd be like, damn it, every time. So then that's when I started the habit of being like, yeah, but what are you barbecuing? Like, can you just let me know? And like, what are the sides going to be? And also, what will the drinks be? And also, how many people will be there? And will there be chairs for people? Yeah. And also, what time are people coming in? What time are people going? And also,
but you know me enough to not, you don't do that to me.
No, because like I know, like probably like the first time I was like, I just better make sure that. But then after
you maybe did the first time. I don't remember that, but maybe.
Yeah, but you know, I'll do that to a restaurant. I'll be like, "Are you sure that there's going to be food at this restaurant? Stop. Are you certain?"
Yeah, is my dad playing a prank on me at this restaurant?
I can't have it. So that's what you did your best at this week, Busy. You like really
party planner of the week. Yes.
You crushed
I did it.
You crushed it.
I did crush it. And from Cricket had the best birthday party. She was so happy. She had such a good time. She loved her cake. Thank you, internet, for coming through for me. Getting that cake pan, this really sweet girl. And Casey called my attention to the tweet because I was really in a spiral about that cake pan.
Yeah.
I was, because I had done so much for Mark's party and was sort of so focused on that I kind of like was like, oh no, Cricket needs to feel special too. Maybe even more so. She's only 8. And I really wanted to make her the stitch cake that she wanted, but I really wanted it to be that I needed it. I needed that cake pan. Anyway, this woman reached out. She had it. She was very close to me in proximity.
And I was like, and you know how I am, like I'm like, oh no, Busy needs this pan. And then I'm trying to find the pan for you. And I'm like, this isn't really my problem, but like, if I can like find it, maybe someone on eBay is selling it near enough to like drive to get it. But then I saw that tweet from that lady and I was like, problem solved.
Twitter can really, Twitter comes through that way sometimes. It can be really good.
Never crowdsourced a thing before. Ashley, have you ever crowdsourced a problem?
Yeah, I've crowdsourced mostly like when I am doing shows and on tour, like how to get weed in a place. I'll do that a lot.
Sure.
That's probably the biggest one. I do feel like one time I have like a dumb Polaroid camera that I'll take around, and I was just like, I'm out of film and I just don't think I can get anything ordered, and like someone came to my hotel and brought me some.
That's nice.
Oh, nice.
And one time I was in the hospital in San Francisco, and I was just like, I just had surgery, but I could still use some weed. And someone came to the hospital and brought me weed.
Whoa. That's a friend or a fan.
And they made sure to like bring a vape. So they were like, you can use it in the hospital. And I was like, you're a genius.
That is really smart. Can you though? Still? Probably not. Probably not supposed to.
Probably
I'm
not.
just going to say it.
Definitely not. Don't do that. You're not.
Don't do that, guys.
Yeah.
Wait, I actually just remembered that years ago when Kelly Oxford had a book come out, and I had agreed to, or I think it was her second book, and I had agreed to like do the Q&A whatever thing for her. And we got to the venue and they had no wine. And not that I need wine to do everything, but I was like, certainly to sit in front of all these people and talk about this book, like I definitely need some wine to do, like just to have, you know, I want to relax, have fun. Yeah. I don't want to be stressed about it. And I did put the call out and then some people brought wine by. It was nice. That's nice.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So now I guess it's like really worked out for me multiple times.
Yeah.
It's proven.
Sometimes Twitter can be good.
I agree. Okay,
Ashley, what are you doing your best at this week?
That's what I was going to ask.
I think I'm going to go with, I did an amazing job of, and okay, I watch a lot of TV regularly. Like, okay, I write about TV, but
it's your job.
I did a really good job of watching TV. I was cat sitting for a friend, and like she had like every channel, like AMC Plus, like Discovery Plus, Paramount Plus, every single one. And I was finally able to like catch up on all these shows that I was like, oh yeah, I never watched this because it's like some weird like cable only TV show that like, you know, airs once every 3 years. So I finally caught up on so many things.
What was your favorite thing?
Kevin Can Fuck Himself, or Kevin Can F Himself. On
yeah, I haven't watched that yet. Is it good?
Yeah, it's so good. And like, I don't know, I don't have regular cable because like I'm a millennial. So I was just like, I don't even know how to like watch AMC. And then finally I was just like, oh, they're like, this person has the AMC Plus app, and I binged the first 4 episodes, fell in love with it. It's so good.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah,
I went to I went to Palm Springs with a friend for like the long holiday and just like watched a ton of TV by the pool. Did I think a really good job just relaxing. Like we went to this resort, the Waldorf Astoria in like La Quinta, whatever, and it was like really nice. But then they gave us this like not that great room when we first got there, and we did a really good job of just being like, wow, we thought like this would be cleaner, and like goodness, there's like dirt and scratches on the bedpost. We really weren't expecting this, and just until they just like felt so guilty, they gave us this like amazing hacienda room with like a private pool and hot tub.
Yes.
Like they didn't like even really like they didn't charge us more. They were just like, we're just so sorry. Like we're gonna go ahead and upgrade you. So we got this like really nice room, and I was like, wow, I did such a good job of like bitching until I got what I wanted.
Wait, Ashley, I want to talk about that because I feel like sometimes it's like a real crapshoot whether or not they like feel like helping and upgrading you or whatever. So did you say that you guys didn't want to stay in the room, or were you just like, this is not up to our expectations?
Yeah.
Did you say like, do you have any, sorry, I'm getting real specific, but I am like fascinated by people who like get upgraded.
It's a whole kind of
free.
Art. Like, so at first
I want to hear.
At first I was very much like, hey, we're willing to like pay for upgrades. Like, we, you know, I want to do this. And they like, I booked it through like some third party because you always get a better deal. And so they were like, oh, well, we can't do that because you booked through a third party. So sorry, we can't like do it. So then I pull oh, you know what? Actually, my manager and my team book my room, so I really don't have any like say over that. Like, if I had known, I would have told my team to book directly. But I just am such a dumb star.
Right. Okay.
And then, like, at that point, someone will, like, they'll be like, wait a second, who is this person? And at that point, like, this girl was like, because they do this all over, like, a texting system at the hotel now. So at first, this one girl, like, and they sign their name. Like, this one person is like, I'm Jessie. And I say, no, we can't change your room. And then after I was like, my team books it. This other girl is like, hey, so I'm Nicole, and I happened to see your messages, and I did a little research. And I saw like your Instagram and stuff. And, you know, I think we can assist you.
I love it.
And that's when I was like, oh, because I'm verified on Instagram. And like, that's when they were like, oh, yeah.
I saw guys, the people about that.
People who think that blue check marks don't matter.
Yeah, who don't matter. They kind of do when you want like
maybe
the hotel.
They do.
Because that's when I was like, because once when they were like, well, we can't do your room at all, I was like, well, then I guess we'll just stay in this disappointing and dirty room. Because there were like stains all over the couch. It was like kind of a really old room.
That's really gross.
La Quinta allows pets. That's the thing.
Yeah, they allow
that's
pets.
Why.
And so I think once I said like that and they realized like, oh, she could like get on Instagram and post a picture of this dirty room, they were like, we got to take care of this. Which, like, isn't even something I would do. Like, I don't care. Like, you know, I'm not going to, like, get on Instagram and be like, look at this. But I think they just, like, fear anyone who can, like, have a following and get on and be like, oh, this is bad. So then they were just like, oh, you know what? Actually, we can totally upgrade you. Like, sorry for, you know, even putting you in that room in the first place.
I like the apology.
Yeah, they were really
I'm
nice
always
after.
here for like an apology.
Yeah.
You know?
So
I just always feel like if the nice room is there, also just like let the person go into the nice room.
Yeah,
I would even feel like
no one is booking it last minute 4th of July.
That's right.
Like no one is driving out there. Like it's just going to be empty.
They would be there. I would even take it if somebody said, "Listen, I'm not supposed to do this, but there is a much nicer room. If someone comes, you got to get the fuck out. But if no one comes, you can stay."
Yeah. And it's like,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. And also the second we got there, we were like, hey, we know we have this room, but like, if there are any nicer rooms, like we'd be happy to upgrade and like pay. And they were just like, no, like they just totally dismissed us. So it was kind of like, it felt like a Pretty Woman moment when I was like, oh, now you'll give me the better room. Like when
big mistake.
Huge. Big mistake. Huge. And now I'm gonna spend so much on room service to make, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes I don't even know what it is. That's what I'm saying. Like sometimes I'm like, thank God that girl thought to Google you or whatever.
Yeah, like one
you know
girl
what I
was
mean?
like, well, let me see, like, what does she mean, her team? And, you know, and it's like, okay, that worked. But
well, it is all just arbitrary, right? And it's all just if one person decides like, oh, I think I can help this person out. And it's like within my power to do so. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like always possibly within someone's power to help you or to say no to you or whatever. And it's like, and then you have to like psychologically figure out like what's the lever that moves that person. Yeah. Is it like, you know, is it fear tactics or is it like honey kindness or is it And it's like
or is this
it's just a lot of work being manipulative.
Yeah. Or is it just someone who's like, I just love the power of being able to say no to you. And
like, or like you get the person who's like, oh, I hate this company that I work for. I love to fuck them over. Yeah, let me help you fuck them over.
Yeah. And like give you this nice room and all these upgrades. And I gotta, shout out to Nicole who helped me out. Because it had just the best time. Like
I love Nicole. We love Nicole.
Love you, Nicole.
She's a queen.
My friend and I had the best time with this like private pool, smoking a ton of weed, and just like watching every TV show that I had to catch up on.
That sounds very fun. That sounds
like really relaxing. And like honestly, I am envious of what is clearly your ability to relax and have a good time.
Yeah, I don't get those. Like, there are those people who are like, I could never just spend 5 hours watching TV, and I'm like, I could spend all day.
I think I'm one of those people that's like, I could never spend 5 hours watching TV. I'm like really not good at chilling out for myself.
Yeah. It's hard.
It's tough.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's something, you know, I feel like I had to learn to get this good at it. You know, it was a lot of time in college just spent in bed watching Grey's Anatomy when I should have been doing things.
Did you watch all the seasons of Grey's Anatomy?
I still watch Grey's Anatomy to this day.
Really?
I've never stopped watching Grey's, and I won't stop watching until they cancel it, and I wish that they would because I want to be free.
It's like a witch's curse.
How long is it? It's still on?
Oh, yeah. It just finished its 17th season and has been renewed.
Shut up.
It's been renewed through season 19. Like, it already... But, like, pretty much everyone has left the show except for Meredith. And she's just
but she's like, she got paid like $47 million to continue.
And also,
right? Didn't she get didn't Ellen get like
she got a crazy
and good
amount
for
of money.
her.
Yeah. And like, she's amazing. I love her. And this last season,
I'm happy for it.
You can tell she was very much like, I am not going to film with the rest of the cast because like, you know, COVID or whatever. But like, she mostly filmed all of her scenes separately on a beach.
No, I love it. She's like, such a fucking queen. Yeah,
her whole plot is like her character is in like a COVID coma. And so she just got all this money to like lay in a bed for half.
Is that
season.
True?
It's totally true.
Okay, let me tell you something. We have to have Ellen on this show.
Please.
Now I'm getting shit. Ashley, when Ellen comes on this show, do you want to come back and talk to her?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I am a Grey's Anatomy like connoisseur. I have watched every
and I think
episode.
It would be helpful. I think it'd be helpful to have somebody who's watched every episode because I watched like the first 2 seasons and have not seen one since.
Those are the good seasons. And it's pretty much like season 4 when it goes off the rails and it's like, there's like a musical episode and pretty much every person is like, why are they acting weird? Oh, they have a tumor. And you're just like, why do people keep shooting people at this hospital? Like, what is going on?
And I feel like they mostly started to do medicine on each other more than like actual patients.
Yes.
And then a lot of people just went upstairs to like die. I feel like just went up like to other floors to die and like we never heard.
Oh yeah, there literally was like the girl who like goes to the basement and just like gets electrocuted and they're just like, well, that intern died. Like it used to be a running joke where you see how the interns died every season.
Well, here's what I want to say to you as someone who was on a medical procedural drama. I was on ER for I think it was season 12 or 13. I can't remember. And then I was in like maybe one episode of the next season, but maybe not. I don't even remember. The point being, a couple things. Number one, doing medical procedurals is really fucking hard. And they don't know if an actor is capable and can do it or not. And the only way you can, because you can audition and like get it down or whatever, but then you get on set and it's like a tracking shot and everybody has to say like the exact right thing with the exact right medical pronunciation and do the right thing because they all take it like very seriously, even though it's like, guys, let's be real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not.
Oh, yeah.
No one's watching this to learn how to suture.
I mean, I kind of am watching Grey's Anatomy to, like, learn. Healthcare is hard to come by in this country. So.
Right? That is true.
Yeah.
But so anyway, my point being that a lot of times with, like, the interns or whatever, they're all, like, recurring or guest star or, you know, because they don't want to commit to giving someone a new part on the show if like they can't fucking hack it.
Yeah.
Because they need to be able to like get rid of them if, you know, what you end up seeing on screen, like obviously they do the job, but how many hours did it take them to get that? And so I think that's like,
that makes so much sense.
And for instance with me, so that's why I went on to ER. I joined the same year. There were several of us, and John Stamos was like added to the cast that year. But I was like, this was pre-Cougar Town, and I was asked to be, like recurring. I think it was like 7 out of 13 or something like that. And I was paid like the top of what ER would pay to their recurring like guest stars. And at the end of that season, I had ended up being used in like literally almost every episode that season. So I was like, I don't want to go back at the same thing. And they're essentially treating me like I'm a series regular. So I don't want to do that. Like I'd rather, plus they stole the idea that I was having a surprise wedding and they just wrote it into the show, which I thought was very rude.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Right? Although they deny it.
Of course. They always deny it. They're always like, no bullshit. Way. Yeah.
That was just a coincidence that you told me that story on set that you were planning a surprise wedding, and then we wrote it into the series 2 months later. Anyway, and so we went back and I was like, if they want to make me a regular, I would love to continue, and if they just want me to be recurring, then I don't want to do it anymore. And they were like, yeah, we just want her to be recurring. And I was like, well, I'm not going to do this anymore. Yeah. So I stopped. But yeah, I also think it's like budgetary stuff too, which is why they get rid of people.
I'm sure. Well, listen, I hope Ellen Pompeo gets $50 million next time she signs. And I hope she's a telehealth doctor. I hope she's just on a little screen being like, that looks terrible. And then that's all she does.
I am obsessed with Ellen. She's like one of my favorite humans. She's so fucking badass. She's such a badass.
Yeah. She's so cool.
So like, smart.
She's like just as cool as Meredith Grey. Like every interview I've seen with her, I'm like, she's so like she's amazing.
Ashley, I'm like, I don't know if Meredith Grey is cool or not, but I really love that you're like, I mean, she is basically like, just as cool as Meredith.
I just forget everyone doesn't speak in Grey's Anatomy shorthand like my friends and I. If you don't know Meredith Grey, she's very cool. She's like the sun. That's what they say on the show. She is the sun. You know? Okay, yeah.
I love it. Okay. Right. Casey, what are you doing your best at this week?
Let me see. I cut my own hair.
Short? Let me see it. What's happening?
It's like, I don't know.
Real short?
Short.
Yeah, it looks real short.
Yeah.
It's cute.
It's really cute.
Looks great.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm just like not at a place where I can psychologically part with $100 to get my hair cut. And I just was like, I have these really sharp scissors and just, you know, they say not to do it. They say not to do it when you're thinking about doing it. But then I just did it. And I was just like, fuck it. I'm just going to do it. And I just did it. And like, I cut my own hair all the time. I know you're not supposed to. And I know like, this is no shade to hairstylists. Hairstyling is an art, but also like, it's just hair. You know what I mean? Like, I'm really lucky. My hair grows pretty fast and like, I'm not super precious about it. I'm not going anywhere like amazing. I'm not on the red carpet or whatever. So I'm just like, just cut it. And then like, it was like, you know, if it's like a little crooked or whatever, then you just like fix it or whatever. And then
or just wear it. That's like the style now.
Yeah.
Like,
and I'm just like, it's
cool. Like,
it's punk. I'm bringing back like salt and pepper or whatever, you know? So I just cut it and also like the shorter my hair is, like the little curlier it gets. So it's like kind of, forgives little screw ups or whatever. But then also when I do eventually get my hair cut by a professional again, the person will ask, like when they see that it's not perfect, they will go, "Oh my God, who cut your hair last?" And I will say, "You did." Because that is what I always say, because I hate that question. So I will say, "You did. Don't you remember? You cut it last." Because
I'm very into this.
Yeah,
that's very
like this.
shamey. It's shamey. And like, you don't know why I cut my own hair, but like maybe I couldn't afford it. Maybe I was having like a bad day. Maybe I got gum stuck in it. Like, it's none of your beeswax why I cut my own hair.
Casey, did you get gum stuck in your hair?
Not this time, but I have in the past. A lot of things have happened to my hair in the past. But not this time. I just wanted to cut it because it was like, you know, I bleach my hair and the ends. When the ends of your hair start to make a sound, like when you're, you know, just like putting a shirt on and they are like crinkly in your ears, then you know it's time to like
that like
get
dry,
some of that
scratchy, like I gotta
get
deep
some
condition.
of that length off. So I just, you know, choppy, but it's fine.
It looks fine.
Well, I think you did a great job. I think you're definitely doing your best at that.
Thank you.
Congratulations to you. And really to all of us, I would say. Just for, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh, it died. It died.
It's okay. We're recording here.
Shit.
Hold on. Do you know when it died?
Why isn't it charging?
Probably something weird. Okay.
Just go to the interview.
Oh. For everyone listening at home, Busy's recorder died. This is what happens. It's just when you're doing a podcast, especially remotely, you're not in a studio, which is how we used to do podcasts.
Yeah.
We would do them in a studio and someone whose job it was would handle everything. Talk about DIY. Now we're all DIYing it with all this like equipment. We don't know what the fuck we're doing. We're not audio engineers.
Yeah, we all have like our own home podcast studios now, and it's confusing. It's a difficult time.
Yeah. And then like this shit, and like every time you do another thing, you do an interview or something, or you have to like reconfigure your setup to work for the person that you're talking to.
Yeah.
And then you try to like put it back and it's confusing. It's like if you had to like rewire your car depending on like who was driving it or whatever.
Yeah.
And like if you're not like a real tech bitch, it's fucking confusing. And so for some reason, Busy's recorder wasn't charging. It died at some point. Luckily, we have a backup recording where she'll probably sound like she's in like a little tin can.
But it works.
Yeah. But, what are we going to do? So anyway, we were very lucky to interview this week our friend SuChin Pak do you know SuChin, Ashley? Yes. She was a reporter on MTV. She's
one of the coolest people ever.
And now she has a podcast as well called Add to Cart with our friend Kulap Vilaysack. And recently she's sort of come forward to talk about some things that went on while she was at MTV. But as we jump into the interview, right from the jump, she's such a pro that she was like ready to record. And so you can hear it. Everybody listen to our interview with SuChin. She's the best.
Dipsy.
Yeah, you went really low.
I was trying to because I felt like we got to be sensual, sexy. Because everyone needs an escape. I need an escape
right now.
But those can be hard to come by. But you know what? Enter Dipsy. Maybe I'm going to leave this podcast and I'm going to go turn on a story. Because Dipsy is a place where you can let yourself get lost in a world where good things happen and where your pleasure is the only priority. So listen, spring has sprung and now it's your turn. Bring the warmth of the outside world back into the bedroom with Dipsy. If you're looking to heat things up, there's a story waiting for you. It's an audio app, guys.
Right.
Dipsy is an audio app. And it has like short, sexy stories designed to turn you the F on. Each Dipsy audio story features characters that feel like real people, immersive scenarios. You feel like you're there. You get turned on. I think it's great. I actually think this is such a wonderful service, especially for women, because so many women listen, we know what it is for the guys. We know how easy it is for them to just get it up and whatever. But sometimes for ladies, it's a little bit harder and figuratively, not literally. And you need to get there.
You need a little extra time and you can multitask. This is audio.
Yeah, it's audio. You can listen to stories about hooking up with, I don't know, your hometown crush you never made a move on, a coworker you had a thing for, or maybe a story that puts you in bed with someone who's telling you exactly what they'd like to do to you. Come on.
Sounds good.
Also, if you're just tired like me, Dipsy has wellness sessions. Soundscapes to help you relax before you drift off to bed. I'm in for all of it. I think it's great.
Yeah.
For listeners of our show, Dipsy is offering an extended 30-day free trial when you go to dipsystories.com/best. That's 30 days of full access for free when you go to dipsystories.com/best. It's DIPSEA stories.com/best. dipsystories.com/best. Care of. I'm going to stop it. But just because that song's not great doesn't mean that you should stop listening to this, because you're going to want to get some care of up in your life. This is a great, we also listen to the end because there's a really good offer. It's a really good offer. Here's what it is. You know what it is. All of Care of's products are formulated with good for you, clean ingredients, backed by science. Care of is super transparent about the research and sourcing behind each one of their products. Your recommendations come in daily, individually wrapped packets that are perfect for getting back into or starting a routine. I have to admit something. I did fall off of my vitamin routine. I'm getting back into it. Yeah. And Care of makes it easy with their personalized subscription. It's delivered right to my door every month, contact-free. You don't have to worry about running out or seeing anyone. And the Care of app allows you to track your routine and earn rewards like discounts and free products when you're consistent with taking your vitamins, which is great because I love to be incentivized. I do.
Same. I like it. It makes like a game out of it. It's a game.
Yeah, exactly. It's a game. It's a game. Doing something good for yourself, taking your vitamins is like a game. Listen, Care of has an in-depth online quiz. It takes the guesswork out of the vitamins, asks you the questions about your diet and lifestyle and health concerns to help you address specific wellness goals. You get a personally tailored approach to your unique health needs, and you can retake the quiz at any time as your goals and needs change. You know, in the summer, you may be looking for some different things than you are in the winter. Follow the Care of experts' recommendations or adjust your pack at any time. What you get is totally up to you. I really love this. It takes the guesswork out of it. Sometimes I just have been known to go to the vitamin aisle in stores and just wander and then pick 3 things that I don't even know if I need. And I'm like, this seems right. That's not the way to do it, guys. Trust me. This is the way to do it. Anyway, I love Care of and their little vitamin packs. They go right in my purse. I can take them throughout the day. So for 50% off your first Care of order, go to takecareof.com and enter code BEST50. What? 50% off your first Care of order. That's amazing. That's great. So for 50% off your first Care of order, go to takecareof.com and enter code BEST50. Get their vitamins. Do it.
Share record on my end?
That would be so good.
Literally
SuChin.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Test. You know, I try. You know what I mean? I just really try to give it my all the time.
You know what you are,
All the
SuChin?
time. What?
You are a fucking professional.
That's right. God damn it. Hold on, let me...
You're actually more than a professional. You're 22% more than professional in my experience.
And we have had some experience. Caissie has also... You come up a lot, as you know, in our podcast. There are a few guests that have dropped such huge gems that they become part of our lexicon. Have you guys talked about glass teeth?
I know what it is, but I don't know. I haven't gotten it yet. But listen, I think maybe she should actually just join your podcast.
Is this what this is about? It's a meeting? I'm down.
Yeah.
But you know, I don't make the decisions. You've met Kulop, yes?
I feel like,
I feel like
you know, it's true. It's true. Yeah, the glass teeth movement, the Dr. Tongue's toothbrush.
Wow.
No, it's like a whole thing. And people just use it in daily life. They're like, okay, so when I was glass teething, I was like, that's not, okay. It's not a thing,
I feel so honored.
You should.
I feel so, Dr.
People
Tongue's
have really taken to it.
Yeah, Dr. Tongue's just sent me like a little care package, which was so nice of them. Shout out.
As they
to
should.
I was gonna ask, have they reached out yet?
They did. They sent me because they tagged thanks to SuChin and Kulop, I think. They tagged me in an Instagram post or something, or like a sales email. They tagged your podcast or something. And you guys,
we give credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
They reached out and we're like, no, it's not us. You're going to have to go straight to the source.
Yeah.
They should be writing you guys checks for your podcast. I'm serious. They won't write checks for us.
Why
they won't
they
write checks for us,
advertising?
but they'll write checks for you. Busy, I'm telling you, they should be writing checks for you guys. We probably have sold more toothbrushes in the pandemic. I've had more people buy those damn toothbrushes.
We gotta get into this, Caissie.
Yeah.
I do feel like, you really do have. I mean, I bought that hair dryer thing too because of you.
The shirt dryer.
A shirt dryer?
No, I didn't buy the shirt dryer, but I think my mom bought the shirt dryer.
Wait, I want to know about your hair dryer.
The hair dryer, the Revlon
one-step
hairbrush
volumizer hairbrush.
Oh my God.
I don't know about this.
This is for the next time she comes on your show.
Yeah. We'll talk about it.
We've talked a lot about it on this show, and Revlon hasn't called either to advertise.
They did tweet me saying we feel the love or whatever, and Dr. Tongue. I'm not gonna, they're probably Dr. Tongue if there is even a doctor that is I still haven't gotten to the bottom of whether or not there's an actual doctor
I don't know that there's a doctor, but I saw on the back of the packages they're manufactured in Hawaii. So we're getting closer.
Okay. All right. We
closer.
have to uncover the truth.
Wow.
But they seem to be a small company who hasn't been like bought out by a huge company.
Which is why podcasts are perfect for them.
Exactly. But
that's what I think.
Yeah. I appreciate that they're just reaching out and being
it's very sweet.
And but Revlon,
I think,
is a huge company.
Write a check.
I think you could I think you could ask for some shares
of Dr. Tongue.
Yeah, I think you should just go in big and you should ask for some shares for yourself. You should get into the company. You should buy into that company because, listen, you see the future. You know what I mean?
She does.
So
we said it. Oh my God, Busy. That's what we said. We said she sees 2 weeks into the future. So it's useful. It's not so far off where you're like, well, I don't know what I'm going to be doing with a robot head. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't help me now. But 2 weeks from now, that's helpful right now.
Yes.
Wow. This is I feel like, well, anyway, Caissie, you'll do what you do. You know what I mean? But I do think you should ask if you can become part owner of the company in some way, shape, or form.
All right.
So then also when they do sell to P&G or whatever, you get that money. You make that cash.
Maybe we'll see. Dr. Tongue, please call me. I want to have lunch with you, even if you're not real. Like even if you're a CGI doctor. Maybe they don't even have the money to CGI a doctor
We'll go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
I'll go to Hawaii.
Love
Drop
to go
of
to
the
Hawaii.
hat. Drop of the hat.
I love it.
Okay. Well, we've done it again. We started our interview without really fully
let's do
introducing
officially.
Our guest.
It's really, Caissie said, Busy, I'm sure maybe you've even met SuChin. And I was like, okay, here's the thing. We never have met. And I know, and she was like, I don't know. I'm sure you probably have. And I was like, no. I was a fan of yours from MTV. Like you are exactly my era of MTV. Therefore, I would have fucking remembered if I had ever met you. So I know that's always the most unfair thing. Like you've been famous to our generation since what year did you start on MTV?
2000.
Oh, 2000? Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Oh, yeah.
In my head, you were never not at MTV.
Yeah, well, thank you. The slice, though, gets smaller and smaller.
Oh, right. Well,
I was on another podcast recently and with a younger audience, and they had to explain what a VJ was. First, they had to explain what MTV used to look like, and then they had to explain nobody knew what a VJ was.
Oh, dear Lord.
Well, that's insane. That's insane.
That's never happened. It's never happened to me. I'm just telling you, I come and I bring you the news, okay? I went out there, and this is what I've brought.
That's hilarious to me. When I worked for David Letterman, when I first started out in show business, my husband worked at VH1, and David Letterman thought that everyone that worked at MTV and VH1 was a VJ. Like, that was his only understanding. So he was like, he definitely thought my husband was a VJ. And he was like, what time is he on VH1? Like, I want to see. And I was like, he's a publicist. He's
wait, that's
what time?
Well,
prime time.
SuChin, you were a VJ, but you also did the news, right, with Kurt Loder?
Yes, that's right.
Another one of my celebrities from my younger days.
Of course.
And so guys, but you've done so much before and after. I mean, you had jobs before that.
Yeah.
Sort of. But that was the big one.
That was the big one. Yeah.
It was also the peak.
Yes.
It was prime time.
It was the peak, and it was kind of the end.
It was. You're like, no, it was the heyday and also
the end.
The end of it. It's true.
Yeah, especially for news.
Right.
For MTV News. I think shortly after I left, that it was no longer. There was no more 10 to the hour. I think they moved, the whole thing to online. There was no, you know what I mean? There was no, it just was. It was so many of those things. It was TRL. It was boy bands. It was the 2000s. It was Britney Spears. It was, all of that. And then it was no more.
Okay, wait, listen. I would be remiss, and you just brought it up. I would be remiss not to ask you a few questions about Britney Spears. Have you interviewed her back in the day? Do you remember? If you ever,
of course, back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't, seen or talked to her since the MTV. But yeah, I mean, a lot of these, I think about a lot of these, pop stars that are obviously still big. And, when I was there, they weren't big yet. Mm-hmm. Even. Do you know what I mean?
Right. So they were sort of just like starting
so they were,
out.
Yeah. So they were accessible. Like Rihanna, was my co-host on a pre-show to a red carpet for the MTV. She wasn't even... They were like main stage. What? Who? Why?
Yes, like Beyonce. I'm sure.
Exactly. Yeah. So so there's that aspect of it, and then of course, very quickly, it wasn't like they stayed obscure very long. Once you get into the MTV machine, by then the record, everything is working towards you reaching that. That pinnacle. And so it happens very quickly, I think. I think from the first interview to, I've probably interviewed her at least a few times. But yeah, I mean, it's, what can you say about it?
I don't know.
It's shocking and a tragedy.
Yeah. Did you read the article that just came out in the New Yorker that Ronan Farrow did with Gia Tolentino? That's how you say her name, right? Gia Tolentino?
I think so.
Yeah. Tricked me her.
Yeah, no, I want to read it. I've only gotten as far as her testimony. I wanted to hear her voice in that, and it was
something else.
But chilling.
But once the judge upheld the conservatorship the same day that Bill Cosby was let out of jail or released, I was like, first of all, I think we are, in hell. But secondly, I think that's like proof that we're not living in the real world anymore. Yeah. That maybe the world ended in 2000.
Could be.
But secondly, I just needed to know more. And that article came out, and it is like, you guys have to read it. I want you both to read it.
I can't.
Yeah, no, I read it. You got to read it before we talked. Oh, you read it.
No,
okay.
I read it. No, I read it. It's really, SuChin, you have to read it. I'll be curious to hear what you think about it.
At the end of it, is it still Team Britney, or is it kind of more complicated?
No, I'm always Team Britney.
Yeah, it's not complicated. Like, the complications were perpetrated on her by like a consistent abuse of power and money and and patriarchy, honestly. Yeah. And like making like a young woman who as far as I can see now, and reading that article and looking back on it, like, I think she was suffering from postpartum,
of course,
depression, anxiety, and something I had and know a bit about. And, and
then compounded with the fame and just like the
paparazzi and the hunger for
the frenzy for her, in particular. But it's also like sort of a case where we see all the time where, Congress investigates itself for wrongdoing, or police organizations investigate themselves for wrongdoing. So in this case, the conservatorship is appointing people to oversee itself. And, so I'm thinking that, if anyone, even if anything that they were saying was true about the state of Britney's mental health, or, I just think that as an adult who lives in a free country, who has demonstrated that she has
the ability to work
and to dance and to move freely and sing and memorize songs and to command the stage and to choreograph and all of the things that she's doing, managing like this whole operation. Obviously she has the agency to have a say in how she is her life and how she's helped behind the scenes, if she indeed needs as much help as,
which it seems clear she does not.
Right. So,
and even if I the way I understand it is that even if she did need the help, let her hire her own damn team. It's like, that's the thing that I'm like, okay, fine. You know, you as the judge, as the powers that be, as the quote unquote professionals and the doctors and all of that, if you feel like this woman still needs some guardrails for her own safety, etc., fine. But give her ownership as to who that is. I mean, even the whole notion that it's with a team that she is alleging abuse against and that we continue to empower them. I would be more okay if it was a quote unquote neutral party or a party that she had some say over.
It's like it's like a Lifetime movie. It's like anytime someone's
you know what it is?
Anytime someone's listening to her, they're cut loose and banished from her life. And I'm like, yes, a neutral party. Yeah, I'm like, she lives 40 minutes from me. Let me go pick her up. Let me take her for tacos for lunch. I have raised 2 people and they seem healthy. Let me I'll just keep an eye on her. And I won't take any money from anyone.
Well, let me tell you something, which brings up an interesting point. That what she needs is honestly a mom. Like, and she's a grown woman.
No.
But
we
when
all
you read
need
the
that.
article, right? But we all need that.
Yeah.
And in the article, it's very clear that Lynn Spears is not protecting her kid in the way that I think any one of the 3 of us would protect their child against the, abuser in their life, which is like her abuser.
Right. She's
like Lynn Spears' abuser.
Yeah, it's not to blame Lynn.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying, like,
she's
what you're describing, you're like 40 minutes. She's 40 minutes away. I want to go get her and just like talk. Like, that's what you want your mom needs to do in these moments.
Yes.
And this woman has been abused basically since forever from this man, and he's now been abusing her kid. It is so fucking tragic, and I guess the judge's decision the other day just really drove me nuts. Like, it feels, what I was about to say, you said it's like a Lifetime movie. It's like a Denzel Washington movie where he's like stuck, and we all know that he's right, but like everyone else is against him.
Yes. And then we need
I don't know.
What movie star is good at busting people out of situations?
I think it's up to us. I think that's what you just established here.
Yeah,
I'm ready. I'm ready.
I'm here to get the laundry.
I got 69 miles on my electric charge.
Let's go get her. Let's go get her. And I'll take Lynn too, I'm happy to take, and we can work on whoever else in that family needs help. But Brittany's the priority. She really deserves to get some of her life back.
I also think about it, SuChin, as somebody who was there, you and I both were a part of that pop culture in that particular time. And I'm on a show now that basically is dealing with a lot of the themes of reflecting back on what was acceptable in the late 90s and early 2000s, and what we now know, and how we sort of come to terms with it and move forward, and how we change behavior as we move forward, right? And I wonder if you feel the culture, the celebrity culture, which I think is only getting worse in a way, if that's a huge part of what we all need to reevaluate our desire for it. Or I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. You were there. You were a part of that. Did you feel like MTV News wasn't doing was doing their job, was not doing their job, was covering these things fairly, was covering these young women fairly, or not? Because I know you've spoken out. I mean, I love the article, and that's we really want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Because I think you've also had a real come to.
Yeah.
What's a better expression than come to Jesus, guys?
Well, probably a real
epiphany.
Epiphany. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've reframed a lot of experiences in your own life.
That's right.
About
Recently.
being in the AAPI community, being an Asian American woman in this industry and how you were treated or subjugated, and now you're like, oh, wait a minute, hold on.
But, in answering that question, because I've thought about this a lot since I posted and shared my story, earlier this year. I'm 45, and it took me every single minute to get to the point where I felt like I could share that.
Yeah.
And that happened, when I was probably, 25, 26. So it's taken me decades to even get to that moment. It's not like I've been holding this, wanting to share and, just waiting for the right moment and articulating it for myself and processing. Like it happened a few months ago. So what I'm saying is that I just think that it's so hard to answer these kinds of questions when you yourself are part of that system and you're so young, and the language that you're developing about your own identity and how you articulate the world around you is being formed by primarily asshole men that don't have any regard for how you develop as a person, as a young person, as a woman, as a person of color. And it's not their responsibility. Like, they don't, you know what I mean? It's, I'm not saying that that's how it should be. But what I'm saying is I think it's really difficult, and it's almost an unfair question to say, well, why didn't you speak up? Or was it, difficult then? And I find that question to be very charged for me because I remember what I was like then. And it took everything for me to just even get on stage, Mm-hmm. And I'm sure we've all had that experience of just being somewhere and you're so caught up in what's happening and you're so overwhelmed and so scared and you feel so tiny that saying anything, I felt like a lot of time, I just felt nauseous all the time. Sick to my stomach all the time.
Just to be clear, I had that experience too of I understood what I needed to be a part of in order to continue to work. And so you find a way to make it make sense you, and you kind of just have to power through. We were told all women, and then people of color, and we're all told if you want to stay in this game, you have to grin and bear it and take it, and these are the rules.
Yep.
So just to give everybody a little background, SuChin, when she was an MTV reporter about 20 years ago, overheard a colleague saying to a room full of other colleagues something that was other women,
Mm-hmm.
a man saying something that was completely racist and out of line. I'm presuming as a joke, just throwing out what he thought was an offhanded joke. It's so horrible what he said. I don't even want to repeat it. I don't even want to. You can read the article, SuChin. The article's in The Cut, New York Magazine, and so SuChin overheard it, and it was it devastating at the time?
And because I want to be, I think that this is the place in your audience is the exact temperature of the water I want to be in at this moment talking about this, because it is very difficult to talk about it still.
Yes,
like I said, it's something I put away in a closet, and then a man came and shot women in Atlanta, and I woke up and I was a different human being. My brain came out of my head, and I am still, so I'm grappling with this new person that's living inside my head.
Yes.
But when it happened, I think the first thing I thought was, well, this guy has always been this way. I mean, I'm not surprised. It's not, I want to say, I think a lot of people can point to that person in the office. Mm-hmm. Everyone knows who that person is. And yet that person still has power. That person continues to get more power every year. They keep fucking renewing the contract, and you're just what is, it's not like he's making it a secret that he's a racist, misogynistic, terribly violent speaking man. I don't know what he, what he does if he just speaks the violence, but it still feels very violent. And so I thought at first, well, it's a joke. part of me and what I'm grappling with, trying to figure out is back then how I dealt with it was what I thought was silent dignity. Like I'm just going to hold my head up high and just be the bigger person. And what I am, this is me and my personal experience. And I want to be very clear about that because I think everybody has to deal with trauma and this in their own way. Yeah. For me, at least, I use humor and silence to hide. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so it felt very dignified, but I was terrified of this person. And I was terrified of what would happen to me had I said something. So I think at first it was that. Then it was a room full of women, and I want to say that's important because it was a room full of women. It was the room full of, it was in the makeup room, and anyone who does this for a living knows that some of your most closest relationships when you work day in and day out on camera is the team that you spend 3 hours with every single day, as intimately touching you as possible. And they were very good friends. And she was crying. And she was reacting the way that I should have been reacting, but I had become so walled in, to protect myself. And by the way, I condone that, because I had to survive that. You know what I mean? I had to survive not just that incident, but just my whole life, at all, ever, college, high school, it doesn't matter. So seeing her cry kind of was very shocking to me. And I remember getting in the car and talking to another friend of mine about what had happened. And her reaction was, so as I was looking at these women who had been hearing this and seeing them get very emotional about it, it hit me. So I was like, okay, I still hadn't opened that wall, but I was like, you know what? I have some amount of power, right? I've got some influence, at least to try to combat what's happening. So if I say something, maybe something will be done. God knows people have been saying it. Interns, other people that were below this person, quote unquote, in the corporate ladder, and nothing was being done. So let me say something. It wasn't until I said something and nothing was done or I was being asked to compromise and rectify my behavior to allow this person to continue to work and exist in this environment.
It's insane.
That's when I not only got angry, that's when the sickness, you know what I mean? Like when I just was, I just remember that time, probably a month of unwashed bed, sobbing hysterically. You know what I mean? I remember that more than anything. And I just remember being like, what do I do? Now you have maybe social media. There's the good aspect of it in the sense that if you don't have anyone, that you can actually create a community that is very accessible and you can reach out to people and all of that. But obviously we didn't have that then. And so I felt very alone and isolated. I didn't know what to do. And every day it dragged on. You have that twin thing of I had this job and it was fantastic, blah, 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 but I'm also a child of Korean immigrant parents who this was the biggest break our family ever had. It's not just for me. Right. That paycheck wasn't mine. That career wasn't mine, alone. So, I have years of that pressure and also that responsibility that is mine. So there's that of fuck, if I lose this job, how is my family going to be financially okay? I just don't know. And then there's obviously, for me, that was a big part of it. And then obviously it's just pure just embarrassment and shame
and shame
and guilt.
And taking it into your onto yourself, you're responsible somehow.
That's right. Oh. And you feel terrible because the line that was given to me was he's got, you could take his livelihood away. This is a big deal.
Yeah, he has a family. He's got a family. Do you want to destroy his life?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anybody, even now. And I would have to think about it.
Yeah. And meanwhile, you were willing to risk your family and your livelihood to like, it's just, I'm getting sweaty palms hearing you just talk about it. It's very upsetting.
And it's I think too sometimes, because I think about this obviously now. I mean, I hadn't thought about this until I posted it. I have to tell you, I never the godparents to my children was my producer at the time. We've never talked about this until
cut to nearly 20 years later, the AAPI community is living through this terrible wave of just hate and hate crimes.
Yeah.
And there was this terrible, awful mass killing in Atlanta. And, and in response to it, you did this post on Instagram describing what had happened to you, and it sort of like made you almost remember it. It was something that you had.
It's trauma. That's
you had
what
put
happens.
it away.
Of course. Yeah. It's like when, literally, like, yes, it's trauma, and it like brings back your own trauma that you had put away and closed the door, and I'm gonna move through this so that I can be the one that like shows up and works. And then you go to sleep at night with the knowledge of what happens. The horrific hate crime, and wake up and you are re-traumatized, like fully.
Well,
and but we have social media. You have a community. You have people that love you, and you're able, right? This is like everybody. We know what it is at its worst. We fucking know what social media is at its worst. But at its best, like you get to reclaim your narrative.
That's right. And I want to say an important piece of it is, obviously, I went to bed that night, and it had, it's been happening, continues to happen. I have parents who live in the Bay Area. I won't go there, but it is very difficult to be where I am. And fuck. It just is. You can't sleep at night thinking about, once you get on that train. I try not to get on that train. Once you get on that train, you're like, okay, so my dad can't walk very well. They're going to go to the park. It'll be during the daylight, but it happens in the morning. It fucking happens in the middle of New York City. In the morning, it happens. It doesn't happen at nighttime in these, it happens out of nowhere. So right. I had gone to bed and just was like, just sick to my stomach, and woke up the next morning not thinking about this. And I read on social media, because I just wanted to know what had happened, the next morning. Everyone's, and I'm reading. And I remember there was a post. I just scrolled by and I just stopped for a moment. It wasn't anyone famous. It was a collection of, I think, probably posts that someone had put together, and, just like a carousel. And there was a random post in there. A young woman was like, every time, for something to the effect of, every time I walk across the street and someone yells to me, "We love you long time," I get scared. That was the moment. It hit. It was like, it's like someone turned the lights on. I couldn't believe it. It was not an intellectual moment. It was a completely physical, emotional, gut, in your stomach moment when I was like, oh my God, I know exactly what she's talking about. And I hadn't thought about it, but the thought before this happened, I'm telling you, because I am as an Asian person, if you were to tell me that a joke like that could lead to someone getting killed, I'd be like, let's everybody calm down. These are analogies. We're talking extremes. I get it. But I have to tell you honestly that I would have never believed that. I really wouldn't have. I think I was so far into the brainwashing, the cultural sort of like socializing that we all go through as women and as people of color. But how could you not? How could you not make that connection? And so that's when I wrote the post, is that So I say this, Busy, because I think, trauma is it gets thrown around so much. It's so hard. We're not professionals, but to me, at least where I stand is I cannot even be aware of myself until the people around me are saying something. And when I realized that, I realized I couldn't hold this story in because it felt really dirty to hold it in. Like it felt like I was just taking and taking and taking, and I wasn't going to just put anything in that offering pot at all. And I was just going to like sit there and let everybody else do the work and me feel better about it, knowing that someone else was speaking out and da-da-da. I couldn't hold it. It felt dirty. And I never, of course. So yeah, that's what this past few months have been like.
It is like a very intense pivot. I mean, it is. It really is.
It is.
And I think that, I'm so great. I'm one of those people, like, I'm so grateful when anyone is able to share their experiences and their stories. And I also have no fucking judgment if somebody is unable to do that. That's right. And can't, because I get it. Yeah. And having been someone who's done it myself, the like emotional hangover part of it is very real. And like what you're experiencing right now, it is putting yourself
it's exhausting.
It's exhausting and putting yourself in such a vulnerable position.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm sure you're like, well, maybe it would have just been easier if I had just like not.
Of course, it would have been easier.
I know.
I think of it so much like when you've had like a terrible stomach virus.
Yeah.
And when, like you were saying, like it felt sick, but also sharing your story is like getting over that stomach virus where sometimes you're like, I'm hungry to eat. Yeah. And then other times you look in the fridge and you're like, nope, I better not eat that, And then other times you're like, I feel like I could eat a little.
A nibble.
I could have a little bit of that. And then other times you're like, I could maybe eat that, but definitely not that. That is what sharing your trauma is like. Yeah. It depends on where you are. It depends on what it is. It depends on who you're with. And it depends on what you're feeling like. And it just like, there's no rhyme or reason.
You're so good at these analogies. How do you come up with them? That's exactly what it's like, Caissie.
She like feels someone's energy and then she comes up with the right analogy. She knew with us it would be food. Of course, I get it. Of course. Like if you talked about plants, I would be like, what is she talking about?
Same.
No, it's like a touchy stomach.
It is.
It is. And I said, like, when my book came out and I had like told stories that I had never told before and things that I had held for a long time to protect other people's feelings, to protect other people's whatevers. I do feel like I started to really gain strength. And I think it helped prepare me for talking about my abortion later and like what was going to happen when I did that. But I really did feel every time someone reached out to me and said like whatever their version of like, thank God, thank you or whatever. I did feel buoyed by that. And then I also felt like such a relief to not have to hold things for other people who don't fucking deserve it.
Yeah.
And I hope that you're feeling that thing, like relief that you don't have to hold this for that person.
Yeah, it's interesting when you say that because those people haven't been in my life they were never really in my, you know what I mean? They were just, I was never one of.
Right. But they have been.
Yes. But the thing, when you say that comes up for me is one of the reasons I think I put it away is because I was very aware that I was one of the very few Asian American faces on television. And there were so many people who have over the years come to me and said, you're the reason why I did this. You're the reason why I did this. I was holding it for them. Because I wanted them to do all those things. I didn't want to give them a version, you know what I mean, of a story that was going to discourage what is already such a difficult path. Like, you know, and so I think the relief that you speak of for me, because those people I've written, they're invisible and no longer on the planet for me, you know?
Right.
The thing that I had, that I feel really relief and supported by, and what I was most nervous by was just feeling like that I had let down, you know, the entire, you know, or portion of the AAPI community that had held my position to some, you know, esteem that they had aspired to. Do you know what I mean? And letting go of that and holding that and feeling like it all, I could, you know, this, I don't want this to spiral, because it can spiral into such places. But when you are conditioned to always be polite, to always be the smartest, to always be the most professional, smile, you know, to acquiesce, not only as women, but also then as Asian American women. I mean, it is in our culture that complaining or ruffling feathers, they'll take your invitation back. Like, you are here under very clear terms. And I do feel like for the first time in my life that our community is finally claiming a place that isn't conditional. And I've never felt that before. I always felt our position in this country or in the media landscape as such fragile. It's such a delicate thing that we don't want to, you know, rock it too much because we're just getting here. I do feel a shift in that. And so anyway, that was a long-winded way of answering that question too. But yeah, I do feel better having not held it. But like you said, Caissie, there are most days I really don't want to be eating this pie.
One thing I will say about the politeness, and I think what is the three of us, I feel like we came up in a time where that politeness, I think before us, women had to be ass kickers to get where they were. So I know that you grew up really admiring Connie Chung, who I consider like an ass kicker. Yeah. She's salty, she's sassy, and she was an ass kicker in a way that like we were instructed not to be. You know what I mean? And I think after us, women are ass kickers in a way that we could not, because wherever all of us were, there really could only ever be one woman. And, you know, and that must have been times tenfold for you, SuChin. You must have felt like times 10. There's only ever going to be one Asian woman representing. So, and I try to describe that to women from other generations, and I sometimes feel like they're like, I don't know if that's true, but I really feel like for women that came up in the 90s and the early 2000s, you really had a very unique, like, you're gonna be the only one and you really better watch it, because if you don't watch it, we'll just swap you out for some other woman who's well behaved. The one thing I want to say about politeness is whenever anybody's telling me, like, you have to think about this guy's life, you have to think about what you're doing to him by speaking up about this, you have to think about what you're doing to this other person. When I had the epiphany of being like, oh, how much did this guy think about my life before he did the thing that he did that's making me talk about this? How much thought did he give to my life? Then that was like a huge thing for me. So anyone that's ever, like, anyone out there that's ever like wondering if they should speak up about something and someone encourages you to think about what you're doing to the person's life that you're speaking against, I encourage you to take 1 minute to think about how much thought that person gave to your life before they did what they did.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's the thing that, you know, continually, I think that this younger generation of women I am like in awe of sort of consistently when I see how they move through the world. But Carrie Champion, who was one of our first interviews, Caissie, on this show almost a year ago.
Yes.
Carrie spoke to this, had the exact same experience and felt like really, we know now, like it's a way of making sure there always is only one.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Not, in the Cut article, I think it's the reporter asks you if you remember speaking with other like women, the newscaster women at MTV about your experience. And you're like, I don't think we talked about stuff like that. Like, I know that so well because I never spoke with other actors, female actors, about their experiences with directors or on set or how much they were getting paid per episode for things or what their quote was. I never had those conversations because I was like, it's between me and them. But that's fucking bullshit.
Yep. Yeah. That's how they win. That's how they win.
That's
how they get us for real cheap.
Right. I had this thing in therapy, SuChin, like, I think it was when we were doing, I think you might remember this, Caissie. I think it was when we were doing our show. May have been right when it got canceled, or we knew it was canceled, but we couldn't tell anyone yet. And I was like, I was really fucking losing it. Yeah. And all of a sudden my therapist is like, and I was like, I just can't. And I was sobbing, like, I can't. He's fucking bad. I'm gonna have I need to go away. I'm gonna have a fucking nervous breakdown. And she's like, you can't have a nervous breakdown because that's exactly what they're counting on. They're counting on you having a fucking nervous breakdown so that you can just be gone. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. We can't. It's really helped me through. I have to say, just that idea of like, oh, I don't have time. I don't have time to have a fucking nervous breakdown because then
you can do that later. We got time.
We're never
going to plenty of time.
Yes. I don't think we'll ever have time to have a nervous breakdown. I think that's like, we got to just keep powering through still, but fighting.
I know.
And that's exactly what we're talking about too. Like handling your trauma in stages is like a really effective way of not having a nervous breakdown. You survive it in the moment and you sort of get on with your life.
Yeah.
And then, 20 years later, maybe you do an Instagram post that leads to like a very meaningful article that leads to, I hope that it has led to some positive things.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Good.
I think positive things for me, for my kids, my daughter, which she doesn't know yet. She's only 7.
How old are your kids?
Oh, so 7? My kids, my daughter is 7, but believe me, I'm a much better parent, this version of myself to her. And I'm excited to kind of help her find her own voice because I did it, I did it, and I did it in small bites. And so, of course I'm awake, and I don't know. Sometimes it's really nice to be asleep.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's like necessary.
It's necessary
almost, again to survive.
Yeah.
That's like you just. Babies do it. Like they shut it down. You
have
when
to shut
they're
it
like,
down.
oh, it's too much. I'm shutting it all down. Like
so. Yeah, I sleep a lot physically, but when I'm awake, I'm much more awake.
So I have a question, just like a work question, because I know a lot of times too, people even 20 years later are hesitant to speak about experiences because of repercussions work-wise, and you're still working within the same industry, SuChin. So it's like, so I guess my question is, how has the response been from colleagues and from producers and people that you want to work with, and I know we love the podcast Add to Cart with Kulap. guys, you really need
They
to listen
won
to
a
the
Webby
podcast.
Award. I mean,
Oh,
like, don't take it from us.
congratulations.
Take it from the Webby Awards.
It's really great, especially if you're someone like me that loves to buy shit.
Yes.
But what else are you working on, and have you felt a lot of support from not the AAPI community, but from the community of like journalists and women in your industry, and then men too? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you asked that question because, I mean, you know, my sharing that story wasn't that MTV was the best thing that ever happened to me. It gave me so much of my life in so many ways, and it continues. You know, I continue to work with them on projects. And, you know, I always say, like, this kind of stuff happens not in, like, on press releases. It happens in the day-to-day interactions with the people that you work with. You can work for a great company that has, you know, values that you love. But if the day-to-day person that you have to sit down at a staff meeting is this type of person, I mean, that's who the problem, you know, who you have. And then it obviously ripples out. So I think when I spoke about it, I do have to say I have the privilege of, you know, being 45, and I don't have to work. You know, I don't know that I would have. I already know what I would have done had I still been on MTV. I wouldn't have said anything. I didn't when it happened, and I didn't even afterwards. So I also want to say that, because I think it's, I really have been tackling this notion of what courage looks like, and that it's always seems to be one version of it, you know, and it's great when it's, you know, the fastest and the brightest and the loudest. But courage is also a lot of us that deal with it in fear and in guilt and shame, but we deal with it. We sit in it, and we're upset by it. Being upset by your circumstance is courageous, because it's a lot fucking easier to just smile and justify what's happening to you and not feel angry, right? So I think that and so I did the post, but I think in a lot of ways, you know, I was free from that, you know, from that feeling, that pressure. I mean, so many people from MTV have reached out, producers. They never knew that this had happened. They remembered, oh my goodness, I remember that you had gone off the air for a while. Was this the reason why?
Oh
you
my
know,
God.
like nobody knew. Nobody spoke. We didn't tell nobody. And then I came back.
Oh, wow.
And nothing was ever said. And I said this in the article, you know, when I came back, I felt like not victorious, but I was like, I better be extra good.
Oh my God.
I better make sure.
Putting more pressure on yourself.
That's right. I better make sure that because I asked them to do this, that I was, you know, I had to then just be, I was like, let me not make them regret that they kept the right one, you know? Oof. And so, it's dark. It's dark when you think about it.
It is.
But that's kind of where I was. And so
I get it.
I never talked about it, even with my friends, who some of my closest friends were my producers at the time. And so now, and I do have to say, you know, I had a private conversation with someone very high up who did not, I didn't know then, and had no, you know, didn't have to reached out, and we had a really human conversation. And he was like, I'm really sorry. Like, I'm just sorry that this happened. And it didn't feel like the big corporation on its knees. It just felt like another human who was like, that fucking sucks. Yeah. Like, I just have to express that. And that alone, you know, I don't need, there's no ill will towards a corporation. You know what I mean? Like I said, I still work with them. So I think that was really important. And so that has been, healing is not the right word. That has been very empowering. The healing has come from my community, has come from the women, have come from these conversations. That's where the healing for me is. Yeah. But those conversations are very empowering for me, because I think part of what a lot of racism and the isms is that it's gaslighting. And we just started this conversation with Britney Spears, is that they make you feel like you're so fucking lucky to be here that like you start to question when you're up against something that doesn't feel right. Is it me? And that's where the trauma lives and it flourishes and it consumes you, is when you wake up and you feel like the voice in your head is stupid, you know, is ungrateful, is all of these things. And then that deteriorates and that eats at every aspect of your life. That's the voice that for me has been very healing to speak to. So yeah, it has been both of those things. I'm just so glad to see your face and to see your face looks very smiling and like just a genuine smiling through the tears. But it is.
But
it's both. Yeah, they're happy. Yeah.
But I also have to say though, I'm guilty of not understanding any sort of, like I sort of had like a vague understanding, but I never read like Model Minority. I didn't know, you know what I mean? Like I literally didn't fucking know.
Neither did we.
And I know.
Yeah.
And so now, I mean, I'm so, Jesus, obviously so grateful that this is another thing I didn't fucking know, but now I fucking know. And talking to my friend Ashley Park, who's on Girls 5 Eva, like reading your Instagram post, the article in the Cut, like all of these things are a part of a process that we have been collectively going through for several years now. And SuChin, just like always loved you. It never occurred, but thank you for sharing and for being so fucking open, because you've taught me so much ever since the year 2000.
I was going to say, I hope and I get from you that it has been somewhat therapeutic, but also it's just really incredibly generous to everyone else, and I guess that's what you set out to do, maybe not with your own life. Like you set out to be a journalist and to like inform people and educate people, maybe not necessarily with your own experiences, but it's really generous to do it with your own life, and it's fucking brave as hell. And so to see you here, smiling with tears on your cheeks is, but smiling and you're here and you're okay and you're such a badass. I hate the word badass. It's so corny, but you are, and I just admire you so much.
Thank you. And thank you guys for even, I mean, you guys also, it's all, like you said, like this, it's an exchange of ideas and it's a conversation, because I think so many of us as Asian Americans have been having this behind closed doors. This is the first time that I think a lot of us have even opened. I've never talked about this with anyone outside of my close Asian girlfriends on a group chat of like, can you effing believe that this, that this character is doing this? And like, I can't watch, or whatever it is. Now it's like, it's weird, and it's, this is also part of the, for me at least, because of the way that I've been raised, and because of I am also an introvert, and all of this is, I need to see the reflection for me to then trigger my own thing, you know what I mean? Like a lot of the times, because I often don't know what I'm feeling, and I don't know, I just don't, and I'm 45, and I'm for the first time in my life being like, oh, how does that make you feel? Okay, right. Like the feeling wheel in preschool, you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm going through every day. And so I think that there is this learning, and this exchange is so invaluable to even me understanding the impact of all of this too. Do you know? So
yeah.
So it's great, and I really appreciate the time in your guys' platform to even talk about this, because it's messy. You know,
it fully is messy.
Yeah,
and I think back to my high school in the 90s and how many boys I heard say that horrible thing.
Yeah.
I don't even know what movie it's from, but it's from some old movie.
Yeah.
I mean, but I remember hearing that from those boys and being like, what is that? Oh. Never did I, I didn't take in, because why would I take in?
Yeah.
But I didn't take in the impact that it would have, that it was having sort of consistently. Also, like our generation of women. Like, I actually have a question. Like, I mean, your kids are little. And do you feel like the parenting, the messaging you're giving them is different than the messaging that you received as a young Korean? You know what I mean? Well, I'm just saying the ones that we the ones that we all.
It was a deadline. I was like, hello, is anyone pick? Nope.
Wow.
Still
you know
no
what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Well, okay. So maybe let me rephrase it. So how are you choosing to talk to your daughter specifically, but also your kids? How are you choosing to talk to your children about, their right to take up space?
Yeah.
Their, because they're going to face external,
of course,
factors, right? Like,
I mean,
so how do you do it?
Yeah. Yeah, but you guys are a few years ahead of me, so you probably have some answers to it too. Because as you know, parenting is just in the moment. Like, it's not like we have done this before. I am now the expert just up till 7, but I can't tell you what happens after that. But I can tell you pretty much with certainty what will happen up until 7. I think the one thing, number one, and we talked a bit about this, is the reparenting that we all have to do for ourselves. And I think that that's essential. I read this book, and it's called Untigering, which I think is an interesting title. Wow. And this woman wrote a parenting book, but specifically through the lens of parenting, untigering, so meaning unlearning some of these traumatic kind of Asian, like, cultural ways that we grew up under, growing up with immigrant families. And so I thought that was very interesting. So there's the reparenting of it, which is what I talked about, which is like, get out the feeling wheel. Okay, let's go. How are you feeling?
How do you really feel? Yeah.
I only have, 2 feelings on my feeling chart, which is angry and then tired. Like, there's no other one. And so then I go, I'm angry. Okay, so on the angry wheel, are you frustrated? Are you, you know what I mean? So then there's segments of that. So I'm reparenting myself. I think that that's the number one thing to me. And I have to believe that you guys agree too. I think every parent realizes that there's no book, there's no advice group out there, because your situation is so unique, and your children are so, they're literally one in billions. There is not another one. So you can't get that from there. So the number one thing to me is that how do you become an evolved human being? Number one, you can't possibly try to pretend to teach your children about any of that if you yourself are walking around bumping into walls and just feeling angry and tired. Like, your kids are just going to be angry and tired. So there's that. And then I think, like, a really big thing is, I was never asked, and I have to assume that, yes, it's a cultural thing, but I think it's also a generational thing of, like, do your parents sit down and how did that make you feel? Tell me what that, so, like, my daughter is a very anxious person, she's very kind of a little bit OCD. She likes to do things, there's a lot of anxiety. And so just even the other day, making a decision for her shuts her down. Like, she can't make decisions. And we went to go get her soccer cleats and all of that. And she's doing soccer for the first time. Okay, so there's lots of first times. I'm noticing this happening, and I'm like, let's just see how this plays out. She has a complete meltdown in the store, and she comes back. And so my husband, I hear them talking. And by the way, number 2 is if you do have a partner and you have a good relationship with your partner, there's a reason that you chose that partner to raise your children. Sometimes you just got to step out of the way of 100%. Someone else who can handle it. And my husband handles this. I look at my daughter in pain and I'm like, how do I fix it? I'll buy you every soccer cleat color. Okay, you weren't happy with the blue one? Let me go out. Which other colors can I get? Just stop crying, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. And he's like, so they had thing, and then she was fine. So then my work, what I come in and do at the end of the day is be like, wow, I really noticed that you had it was really overwhelming for you to make it. I hate making decisions, which is true. Also, don't fucking lie to your kids about anything.
Oh, 100%.
Like,
yes.
If you are great at making decisions and you say I'm terrible at making decisions, they will know that you're lying.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at making decisions. And I was like, and she'd be talking, and I said, I really thought it was interesting after you spoke to Dad about how you felt. You were laughing. Did that feel good? So what I try to do there is everyone, I do believe, is born with an inner voice. And that inner voice, call it intuition, call it your 7th chakra, I don't know, whatever it is, that inner voice will never steer you wrong. And you're born with that.
Yes.
You're born with that. And then we spend the rest of our lives denying it, telling it that it's stupid, shutting it down, making it small, shushing it, all of that. So for me, my job is for her and for my son to, whenever you feel that you get like a tightness in your stomach, or you start to feel like that cloud coming, that's your inner voice telling you in that moment something is not right. So what is that inner voice telling you? If I could just leave them with that one skill, that's it. Like, she can protect herself. She's out at a party people making terrible decisions. If she's got that skill, I'm going to assume, and I hope that will be enough, because I can't be at that party.
Right. SuChin, you said there are no good books on parenting. This sounds like an excellent but very short parenting.
I like it.
It's called Instagram posts. Yeah.
The other thing I will say is, because I'm very much with you on that, and like empowering my kids to have their own voices has been a big part of my parenting since their births. But I really do think that one piece that always bears repeating is that our kids are constantly watching us. Yeah. And so you really do have to walk the walk, even if it's like fake for yourself. Like, do you know what I mean? Sometimes that's how it becomes real for yourself.
Yeah. And acknowledge that.
Yeah.
Even like, because my daughter is so funny. She's been going through this phase, kids, they're so funny. They're, you live with your teacher and your guru. And they're in the form of your children or your partners, whoever you're living with in your pod. So she would be like, she'd like coloring. She'd be like, oh, there's mad mommy. Oh, there's tired mommy. She was narrating my emotions. And I was
oh, my God.
This is really fucked up and I'm not down with it. And so we've had lots of really intense conversations.
Yeah.
I always like to do it right before, but she feels more vulnerable then and I feel vulnerable and we're all kind of, and cozy. I'm like, you're right. Like, and I do talk it out with her. Even if I know that she's not getting it, she's watching me process my emotions and being aware. Right? You don't teach the awareness, right? She's like, oh, this woman, I don't know what she's saying, but I clearly see her trying to work something out. Like, that's enough. Like, I think that the parenting thing trips me up when there's like rules, like, and then you say, how do you feel? And then they say, it's like, what are you talking about? Like, that doesn't, to me, that just isn't, there's no one formula for every family every dynamic is so different. I can't imagine writing a book or even telling other people about how to parent.
It sounds like you're already so far ahead of the game. It sounds like you're a very natural parent.
We all are. Natural parent. Yeah. Well, No. I mean,
No?
yes and no. Yes and no. Busy,
Okay.
I was telling Caissie about this thing about like, oh man, okay, this has gone on far too long. So please, I'm going to try to be very, very brief. Another huge pivot for me is that after I had my second child, I had them pretty much back to back. So 2 babies, 2 diapers, 2 bottles, 2, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, when a mother, a woman, goes through this feeling of, I actually don't like to be around my children.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want this baby.
Yes.
That is not only the darkest place, but everybody around you is like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
There's something deeply broken
Right.
about, right? And I went through a whole series of things and I came on the other side of it of like, I don't really love parenting and I don't really love this thing, but that doesn't mean I'm not good at it. And it doesn't mean that I don't love my kids.
Yeah.
It also doesn't mean that maybe down the road, as my therapist says, it's like, you're just not a baby person. You're just not a toddler person. You know, as they're getting older, I'm enjoying it much more because I think this is where I really like am activated, you know, and before this was just, it wasn't, I was never the one wanting to hold babies and smell babies. It just wasn't me. And I had 2 of them and I was like, why don't I want to smell my babies? What's wrong with me?
Right.
So anyway.
And no one talks about that.
No.
By the
Are
way.
you kidding me? If you did,
No.
I tried to talk about it with my partner who I understand at the time. He was like, are you going to run away or do something terrible to yourself? Like, should we be, you know what I mean? Like checking in somewhere?
Well, there are like some postpartum signs that overlap with that, but there also is like some people are like, this isn't exactly what I don't know what I thought was going to happen, but this is not it, you know? And I mean, I actually am a baby person. Like I'm like
Busy loves babies.
I love babies more than anything. To me, like babies, I fucking get them. I get them. Like I know what they want. I know how to do it. I'm like, it's so fucking easy for me.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
I would hold a baby any moment of any day over having to navigate some of the stuff that I've had to navigate in the last year with my older kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like that stuff, the complexity of problem solving that has been required in my life. I've been like, oh, I am not good at this. I am not where I was like, do you need a bottle? Can I swaddle you and rock you? Cause I know how to do that. Sometimes I do now. I'm like, Bertie, I think you need a bath. Yeah. So are you giving like a baby, like how you get a baby a bath?
That's what I was going to say. Maybe you do need to swaddle her.
I swear to you, it kind of works sometimes. And then sometimes they're like,
good.
No, I don't need a bath.
Yeah.
Like, okay. Well.
I think it's so important just to admit, I think, SuChin, I think you were ahead of the curve just admitting like, this is maybe not the stage that's for me. Because like, I like a baby, okay. I am super bored by a toddler. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God. The repetitiveness of the kitchen.
It's
Playing
just,
restaurant
What about at
or
a playground?
whatever.
If I'm at a playground, I've
can't.
done something wrong to be there. Like I haven't set my life up.
And some people really love it. Thank goodness my husband really loved it. But like, thank God for magazines because I would just tear out page after page of a magazine and let my son like go throw the page in the garbage. But that's like the only way I got through toddlerhood. But give me like a 7-year-old, 7 through 12, love it.
Yeah.
Love
Is that
it.
how old your kids are now?
No, mine are 21.
Oh, so you know
and-
what's ahead.
Casey's done.
19.
Casey's done.
She knows. Wait, so
She's done.
is teens worse than 7 to 9? Because now I'm scared.
It really
It depends.
It really depends. It really depends.
How
on
were
the
your teen
kid
years?
And mine were the roughest at like around 10 through 12.
Oh, okay.
And then teen years were a pleasure.
Interesting.
I would say Birdie, who turns 13 next month, has turned a corner in the last few months that I feel like I see the sky. Like I see it. I see how wonderful this person. Okay, wait, by the way, I do have to say this because this is when I literally high-fived Mark. We took, Birdie is gay and non-binary. We went to the queer liberation parade in New York because Birdie's also very anti-corporate sponsorships of things. It was, I mean, whatever. You know, these kids. Anyway, we met up with some friends of ours so we could all go together. And my friend brought a young woman who's like freshman at Howard University who is like her mentee. Yeah. And this young woman was so sweet to my kid and like was just, they were chatting because Birdie was nervous about going to the parade for a few reasons. Birdie doesn't like heat or crowds of people. So you know what I mean?
Perfect.
But this young woman was so sweet with Birdie. It was just like, they were having this great time, chatting. There was some Black Lives Matter signage in the parade. And there was something and Birdie asked what it meant. And then she was like, oh, I want to show you these handshakes too. And Birdie's like, oh, cool. And the girl goes, it can be like a cultural exchange. And there's a pause. We're marching. And Birdie goes, yeah, except I have literally nothing to give you in return. And Mark and I were like, high five. We did it. They know. Yes. It was like, so, and the girl like burst out laughing and was like, you are something else, kid. You are really something
the
fucking
truth,
else.
yes. Out of the mouth
truth.
of babes. I mean, I love it. That's incredible. That self-awareness that like, honestly, Busy, that's a true high five.
It was a high five. But like now I see our little one Cricket, who's 8, just turned 8 a few days ago. She's starting to get real snippy and real like sassy and stuff. And I'm like, ugh, we're in for it. I think that's 9, 10 for girls, I think 9 is when it kind of starts to turn and you're like, ugh.
Yeah. And 8 is so great that the contrast.
8's so cute.
8 is
7
the best.
and 8 is the cutest. And then at 9, when the hormones start to kick in or whatever happens, it's just a bummer.
And it's
I've never enjoyed it. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I'm saying until now. No, I do have to admit, if you know me, that I'm even talking about my children, you know, because it was just so hard for so long that I just never, I had my second for years and people very close to me had no idea that I had, you know, that were living in New York. They're like, who's that? Is that baby yours? You were pregnant?
Who's that baby that's on your Instagram?
Yes. What is that? They lived in New York. And, you know, because I said I had them back to back. I had them back to back.
I love that because that means that you were maintaining a whole other identity that was separate from your children because I felt that way. I didn't want to let my entire identity be swallowed up by motherhood. I remember when my older son was about 6 years old and I had been home for a little while. I was between jobs and I was offered a job. It was going to be like a full-time job in the city. And I was like, is this going to be weird for him? But like in a way, I just really wanted the job. Yeah. And so I went to him because I always, you know, I'm always busy knows. I'm always checking things with my family. And so I went to him and I was like, Bud, I have been offered this job. It's in the city. It would be full time. I know I've been home with you. But this would mean, you know, that I'm not.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I just wanted to talk to you and see what you think about it. And my son was like, Mom, that work is what you are born to do. And I was like,
oh my God.
They know.
Oh my God.
Dude, thank you.
The guru speaks. These gurus, they speak.
I'm going to do it.
Thank you for knowing that and not this is what I was born to do.
Because this ain't it. This ain't it.
Thank you for nicely letting me off the hook and pointing out that I might be shit at this.
Go. No, that is not what he was doing.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I do.
You know,
I do.
Yeah, they want us to be happy.
Yeah,
that's
I don't know.
thing.
I don't think my kids do.
Oh.
I actually think they don't really have any interest in my happiness. I really don't. I think that they think I'm like, that the most important thing is their own happiness. And then secondarily to that is like their favorite YouTubers and Twitch streamers' happiness. And then maybe mine.
And then you made the top 3.
That's true.
You know, as true. With teenagers,
what more can you ask for?
With teenagers, I hear the what more can you ask for, really?
SuChin, you really are such a delight. You put it all in perspective. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Everyone, please subscribe to SuChin's podcast, Add to Cart with Kulop, with our friend Kulop. Subscribe, download, you know the drill. It's such a delightful podcast. It's like just all about things that you want and that you were thinking about buying. It's so great. It won a Webby Award. What more? That's like the Oscars of podcasts.
It's like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah, that's it.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
That's exciting. Anytime you win something, it's very exciting.
Very exciting. I know. It's until you win it, it's not exciting. I'm like, who cares about the Webbies? The second you win it, you're like, this is the most important award one can. It's the Oscars of the podcast. So I am fully on board with the Webby Kool-Aid, drinking that down.
Well, it's
I love
well
it.
Deserved.
Yeah.
And check out the article, the profile of SuChin in The Cut. It's really great.
We'll do like a swipe up thing.
Thank you.
We'll link to the article, guys, is what I'm trying to say. This has been delightful. Thank you for giving us some extra time with you. Thank you for being in our lives and televisions and ears for these past 20 years, 20 plus years.
Guys, I hope this doesn't sound weird, but I do feel swaddled and bathed by you both. I do. I do have a sense of like, you know what? I had some trepidation as we all do as we go into these conversations. And now I'm just like open-hearted and running through fields, you know, singing at the top. So I feel kind of awesome.
Good. I'm so glad. Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, all right. We love you. And
we love you,
we'll talk to you.
Okay.
I know.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
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 Girlfriend Collective.
Did you get your clothes?
Well, here's the thing about Girlfriend Collective, guys. I've been wearing Girlfriend Collective for years. You know why? Because Girlfriend Collective, I don't know if they were the first company to do it, but certainly they were the first company I had ever heard of that started to make their workout clothes out of trash. That's right. Girlfriend Collective turns old plastic bottles, fishing nets, and other waste into clothing that you're never going to want to throw away. It's amazing workout clothes. If you've watched me work out online for years, you've seen me wearing it. Now we're lucky enough that they're advertising on our pod, which I love. They're size inclusive. They make cute, comfortable bras, leggings, shorts, tanks, tees, swimsuits even. Now I have a swimsuit.
Everything.
Whether you're working out, running errands, doing nothing, lounging in your home, Girlfriend Collective has functional fabrics, like great colors. I've always loved their colors. And amazing styles for any activity. Their best-selling leggings are squat-proof, come with pockets, have different levels of support. Whether you need compression or comfort, I go compress. I always go compress.
And I have to say that also, I know there's like debate about if people feel comfortable wearing leggings out to like run an errand or whatever. These leggings are really flattering, the way that they're cut and the way that the seams are on the leggings. They're really flattering, and I feel great actually about wearing them out to go shopping or whatever. I think I look great in them.
Yeah, I really enjoy Girlfriend Collective. I have for years. I have a bunch of different styles. I love their bras. I particularly love their sports bra that snaps in the back, that has like snaps in the back, because so frequently, you know how much I sweat, but especially like my boobs fluctuate in size like premenstrually.
Yeah.
And when I'm having big boobs and trying to work out and then trying to get my bra off after, it can sometimes send me just right on over the edge. And so the Girlfriend Collective sports bra that snaps is my fave, because guess what? I can get it off.
You need it.
I need it. They use recycled materials to make their clothing. Their shipping is 100% recyclable. You guys know who they are. You've seen their clothes. They're super cute.
They're so soft.
They're very soft. So for listeners of the show, Girlfriend Collective is offering $25 off your purchase of $100 or more when you go to girlfriend.com/best. That's $25 off $100 or more when you go to girlfriend.com/best. girlfriend.com/best.
Highly recommend.
Here we go. You know, it's been a minute since we've had our friends here. And I just want to say, getting busy with it. Busy. We're all getting busy.
Oh,
I've
Vizzy.
missed our friends. I've missed Vizzy.
You, Vizzy.
Vizzy, we've missed you. I had some Vizzy at the party I threw.
Oh,
Let me
great.
tell you something. Here's the thing that makes Vizzy stand out for me in terms of hard seltzers, because I've gone into those stores now. I know how many hard seltzers there are to choose from. And here's why Vizzy is my choice again and again. It tastes great. It's a great hard seltzer. I love a fizzy drink, but it also has something a little extra, and it makes my choice easier. It's the first hard seltzer with antioxidant vitamin C, and it just brings a little something unique to the table, guys. I think you should just grab yourself a drink that can do both with Vizzy Hard Seltzer. Extracted from the acerola cherry, which is a super fruit with 30 times more vitamin C per cup than an orange. That's crazy.
That
to me
always blows my mind.
Always blows my mind. I love it. I love that acerola cherry.
We think that the orange is the gold standard of vitamin C, and here comes the acerola cherry to blow our mind.
And the acerola cherry is like, get out of here. Just get out of here. Get out of here, orange. And I'm not even interested in you. But listen, they've got 8 bold and delicious dual fruit flavors and antioxidant vitamin C inside of it. Pineapple mango, black cherry lime, strawberry kiwi, blueberry pomegranate, papaya passion fruit, watermelon strawberry, blackberry lemon. My personal favorite is the blackberry lemon, and raspberry tangerine. Guys.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh, in April, Vizzy launched its own lemonade hard seltzer in 4 delicious flavors: watermelon, peach, raspberry, and strawberry. And obviously, you know, the acerola cherry made an appearance in that.
For that amazing antioxidant vitamin C. Congratulations.
We
love it.
You guys, with Vizzy, you can enjoy refreshment and the antioxidant vitamin C from the acerola cherry. And at 5% ABV, 100 calories, and less than 1 gram of real cane sugar per can, every sip of Vizzy is more exhilarating. That's fantastic. Upgrade your hard seltzer to Vizzy. To find out where you can purchase Vizzy, go to VizzyHardSeltzer.com/busy. That's Vizzy, VIZZY, hardseltzer.com/busy, BUSY. Don't forget, you got to be 21 and older to drink in the United States.
Obviously.
Well, guys, we're having, it's unsurprising technical difficulties, because this is who we are.
It's how it goes.
Ashley. Delightful. Well, Ashley, we love you. Thank you for stopping by. You have to go because you have a meeting.
Yeah.
I'm going to go look for my USB case.
I really wanted to talk about the Caroline Calloway snakes oil stuff.
Caroline Calloway's snake oil.
I haven't even seen it yet. I haven't seen it. I just read what Casey wrote.
It's so funny. It's like there's cat hair in the oil bottles and cat hair. Like she's making it and then she's posting pictures on Instagram of like her making it in her bedroom. And there's just like, it's like a wooden tray covered in like dust and cat hair. And she's just like, buy the oil. It's $200 a bottle. It's wild.
What's in the oil?
She won't tell anyone the ingredients. Like people,
it's like grapeseed.
Yeah, she did say like there's some grapeseed oil, and then everyone is like, "What's the rest of it?" And she won't say.
If you're a fan of the Caroline Calloway lifestyle brand or the lifestyle brand saga,
I think it's the saga, really.
Find Ashley Ray on social media, and maybe she will further comment on it.
Yeah,
I know I'll be following it because I was surprised by the introduction of snake oil yesterday.
Yeah, which genius name for her, by the way. Like
genius.
Her marketing is on point. She really knows what she's doing.
On point, and the little hand-drawn labels. Yeah. Genius. But she's getting a pro label, and she's going to raise the price, she says, once the professional labels and maybe get the cat hair off the bottles and once we raise the price.
Yeah.
So, Ashley, thank you so much for being here with us today. We're going to find a chord for Busy and record the end of the podcast.
Maybe. Yeah. The answer is maybe.
But everybody, check out Ashley on HBO Max.
Yes.
Yeah, it was for Pride Month, but Pride Month is over. But we're still proud.
We're still proud. HBO should still have it up. The HBO Max, the Queer Showcase, some of the just like funniest queer comics out right now. Like it was a really fun time, and I'm so happy.
It's fun to be one of the funniest queer comics,
right? Like, thank you. Funny, category queer. I love it.
Ashley, we love you. Break a leg in your meeting.
Thank you so much.
Talk to you soon.
Okay, now I'm recording again.
Okay.
I thought Mercury was out of retrograde.
Does it seem like it's on?
It's definitely on. It's
all
recording.
Right. Keep your eyes on
The question is, will it stay on or will it just fucking
keep your
shut
eyes
down?
On that red dot. That is truly the worst feeling when Busy's like looking.
I'm just staring at it.
Your eyes are boring a hole into your recorder. It's the worst feeling when you're doing a podcast and you're like, because like the point of it is to be having a good time and be having a fun conversation. And then you glance over and that red dot's not going. And then you're just, all your guts fall out of your body. It's dead. It's dead. And I mean, like, dead. We have a backup, like the Zoom.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if we have, if I have a file on this card when I take it. I don't even know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen, guys.
We don't know what's going to happen, but we do on my computer. There is a backup, but the sound quality isn't as high. And then we'll announce in the podcast, hey, guess what? We had technical difficulties and something happened.
Doesn't matter.
So we have to use the backup where it doesn't sound as good. And then, so we apologize. And then people are going to message us and be like, hey, just so you know, Busy didn't sound great on the podcast this week. And I'm like, I know, we told you.
We understand.
We said.
I'm so tired.
Biz, I'm worried. You're going to get mononucleosis.
I don't think so.
Have you ever had that?
I did.
All right.
I had it when I tried to go to summer camp.
That's right. That's right. Is that a one-time thing? Can you only get mononucleosis one time?
I don't think so. I think you can get it multiple times, but I don't think adults generally get it.
I don't know. I feel like I still have it from when I was like 14. I think I don't
want to be tired. I don't want to be a person who's like, I'm tired. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I feel bad about that. Like, I don't want that to be the thing. And at the same time, it is all so exhausting. Everything, every part of all of it. I I just don't know. I feel I'm having a hard day. I actually was having a hard day before the podcast. I felt like I had to, it's so funny. It's so funny when I fucking do it. It's so funny when I do it. I fully just did it. Like when I started the pod, because I don't know Ashley Rice. So I was like, I'm just going to like come in guns blazing. Just, I don't know. I can't. Now I just feel exhausted. I need to go lie down. But you know what I mean? I was just like pushing through, but I like, if it were just you and me, if it had been just you and me, I probably would have just like cried for the first 20 minutes of the podcast. Also, by the way, I know I'm talking about Bowen
Yang.
Matt's, Bowen Yang and Matt Rogers' podcast.
Yeah.
A lot. But Bowen was like hungover kind of, and like had been partying all weekend because it was Pride or whatever for last week's episode. And he started crying about Conan O'Brien. And I truly was like laughing so hard because I felt like it was the male version of me. Like just
that
like
makes me laugh.
Just like crying about something that's like, what? Why are you crying about that?
Well, we have to get Bowen on the podcast because he was booked on the podcast, but then I feel like he had to postpone or maybe just flat out cancel. I don't know, but
I don't remember what happened.
I'm gonna put it in your hands since you're a Las Culturistas fan.
Super fan now.
You're a super fan. And I mean, and that's saying a lot because you don't even like podcasts. So
no, I don't like any podcast. I don't listen to anything. But I've listened to 2 whole episodes of Las Culturistas, and let me tell you,
that's a big deal. One you weren't even on. So
one of which I was not even on, but I was referenced. So, but that's not why I listened to it. Me being referenced was a surprise.
It was a surprise.
Caissie, I'm like, I feel like, is anything ever going to be normal again?
What is normal is the question. I mean, listen, no, probably not. Probably what are you looking for? Let me ask that. What's the normal thing that you're looking for?
I guess I'm looking for like, I don't know. I just don't feel like myself yet again.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Do you feel like yourself?
It's hard to say because prior to the pandemic, my life had changed so much anyway. Yeah. So I already didn't feel like myself, but also and I was actually going to email SuChin when I had a minute anyway, because of some of the things that she said resonated with me so much about putting something that happened to you in your life away for so many years and kind of addressing it at a later time when it pops back up. And I feel like that was something that I really identified with really strongly.
Same.
So I feel like I'm meeting parts of my new self all the time and figuring out who I am all the time. And it's like I always say about my husband, God, this guy, he's known me since I was 18 years old and I've been 7 different people. And thank goodness every time he's like, oh, I like that girl. She's cool. Thank goodness, because otherwise, I don't know what would happen if he was just oh no, I'm not on board with this new person that you are, because all the time, every time I turn around, every time I wake up, I'm a new person, and it's a lot and it is tiring. And so I don't even know that I know who myself is necessarily. I'm still trying to figure it out.
I know, kind of same. I mean, I think that's universal.
Yeah. And it's also I think I'm always scrounging to figure out something really deep about myself. Who am I? But maybe it's not that deep. Maybe it's just I don't like to have wet shirt cuffs and like I really, you know what I mean? Like I really hate bug bites.
Ugh,
and
I'm covered in them right now. It's a bummer.
You know what I mean? Like I'm like, maybe that is essentially who I am as a person. Like maybe it's not that deep. You know, like I really hate hypocrisy. Maybe there's just like really 5 things about you and that's all that it is. Maybe that's like who you are. And like maybe I've been feeling kind of weird about not feeling like, oh, I'm not feeling like myself or I don't know who I am. And maybe it's like I was waiting for like this big reveal of like who I am. And it's like I knew all along. It's just that it's not that deep. You know, and I'm not shading myself. I'm just saying,
I get it.
You know, I'm just saying like it's kind of basic, and I'm not saying like basic bitch. I'm just saying it's simple. And I'm not saying
simple like I'm simple like stupid. I'm just saying
it's like
I get it.
Obvious.
I get it. And I'm not saying obviously. It's a bad thing.
I'm just saying uncomplicated, you know, like you get what you see is kind of what you get at this point. Like what, you know, at this point.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. Like I don't know. It was fun to like see people. It was crazy to have a party and to see people. And I think people were really excited to like see other people that they haven't been, you know, I think most people at this point have like opened up friend groups and seen some people and like probably same people over and over again. Do you know what I mean? So you're not seeing like a ton of new people or even like people that you have known for a long time, but they're not in your like inner circle. Like those extraneous circles of people, whatever.
Yeah, you were getting like some fresh blood in there.
Yeah, so people I think were super excited about that. And it is weird because it does sort of bring up this thing for me, which I feel like always fucking happens. And then I'm like, I need you to remember this. And then I never fucking remember it, which is that I actually am kind of an introvert. And I sort of like hate big groups of people. Like I kind of hate them.
Yeah.
Like it's not where I feel the best.
Yeah.
I like feel the best with like at a table of 4.
Right.
Or like a table of 6 tops, guys. I can't do more than 6.
I always like to be in a big crowd, but I like to be in the corner of it with like 2 people that I love, like between 2 people that I love, like having a pretty intimate.
Yeah, hosting was like its own thing. So it wasn't, I felt like I didn't have like the FOMO or whatever that I normally would have because I was just like making sure everything was going smoothly.
Yeah.
But I do realize because people came in for, you know, some people came in for like at least a week vacation to, you know, made a whole thing out of it, that I'm a little bit like, oh, I have to do my podcast today. Therefore, no one has seen me all day. But like in reality, the podcast is just like 2 hours of my time. And so, you know what I mean? Like I just like need to be by myself.
I do that. I mean, like I do that even when I've had like friends stay over, which is very rare and weird because like, okay, if you live in a giant house, it's one thing to have like a friend come and stay with you. But if you live in a relatively small house where like the guest room is right next to your bedroom, it's another thing to have a friend come and stay, you know, with you. And so, you know, it's very intimate. And so I will fully pretend like my bedtime is 8:00. Like I'll just be like, oh my God, I'm so tired. Like I'll eat my last bite of dinner, like walking to my bedroom and be like, see you in the morning, and just like post up in my bedroom, camp out for 4 hours till I go to sleep really at midnight and just not make a peep or whatever, because you just need that time to yourself. Like, you know, I'll pretend I'm going to the bathroom for a really long time. I'll, you know, pretend
the bathroom has been the mother's respite for since the beginning of time.
For years.
Yeah. That's like where we've always gone to like, that's I think why I got back into baths.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, wow. Yeah. No one's going to fuck with me while I'm taking a bath.
Yeah.
And then they do now. So that's
they do.
great.
I know. Yeah. So that's, hopefully,
so,
hopefully
put some
that'll
locks on the fucking doors. You know what I mean?
Get some locks. And
I know. I really need them.
And plus you'll be over that hump in a couple years where everybody will be back in their polite right minds, where they'll be old enough to be like, oh, I can let my mother take a bath without knocking on the door entering. Hopefully.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
I also just get sad because it's like Birdie will be gone soon.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, then I'll want them to, oh no, I'm going to cry. Then I'll want them to come bug me in the bath. Show me dumb videos.
Maybe.
Those dumb videos I really fucking hate. I can't take it. And like, it's weird. Like Birdie takes it so personally. You know what I mean? Like that it's like a personal affront that I don't like them watching these fucking videos.
Yeah.
But it's not. It doesn't mean anything about how I feel about Birdie. I just like literally can't stand those fucking videos.
It's a lot. It's like, well, you both have like
willful personalities.
No, I was just going to say, like, you both have such different personalities, I think. And like part of your personality is like you've fully just talked on the podcast about not being able to sit still or pay attention to anything. And that would include watching a video, even that you probably really liked. You'd be like, yeah, I got it. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's true. Well, you know what? That's the thing too, is that, and also Birdie has like all of these demands when I watch a video, which is that like I'm not allowed to be on my phone and I'm not allowed to like fold laundry and I'm not allowed to. And I was like, I have 4 billion things I need to be doing right now. And you're forcing me to sit down for 22 minutes to watch this like fucking Twitch live stream.
Right. And Birdie's intense about it.
My nightmare. Yes.
Yeah.
Birdie is intense about everything, but yes.
Yes.
I don't know. Listen, I'm sorry. I'm turning low end.
No,
also,
it's okay.
The SuChin interview was very intense.
Yeah.
And I was like really thinking about it a lot last night. And then, because we talked to SuChin yesterday and then today, I don't know. It was really intense.
Yeah. I love her.
I think that I do too. I do think I'm glad you're going to reach out to her, but I think that it's going to be a thing that a lot of people will recognize that feeling. A lot of people who listen to this podcast will recognize that feeling of like, a lot of times you have to like put things away sort of like in a lockbox in your brain because you don't have time to deal with it or the resources, and you're aware of those things on some level. So you just like, they get put away. And then when they resurface, it can like be a real thing.
You can really trip on it. You know, it's like, well, whenever this will be something that's very familiar to a lot of people listening, I think, when when people are like, why are you coming forward now? When a woman comes forward about something that happened years ago, and people will often ask, and it's in the service of doubting this woman when they say, yeah, but why are you coming forward now? And it's because like, motherfucker, because when it happened, all I did was survive. That's all I had the bandwidth to do.
Sure.
I just survived. it. That's what I accomplished. And so I'm coming forward now because now I have the bandwidth to come forward. And because now I am. So that's why I'm coming forward now. So, so we need to support each other when we are able to sort of pick up the pieces. Like sometimes you don't have the energy or the bandwidth to assemble the pieces back into whatever it is and to look at what it is and figure it out until later, and so we need to really support each other when that happens, or at least like not try to stand in someone's way when they're doing that. And I think a lot of people, that's their instinct to do that. I don't know why that is like that instinct to poke holes or whatever. But it is like, it is an instinct that I feel like people have that's not the best.
Why do you think that is? Because people don't want to they don't want to hold the bad feelings. They don't want to like acknowledge it. If they acknowledge it, then they have to do something about it. Then they become responsible in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably patriarchal. I think on
God, dude, everything is fucking patriarchal.
It really is. I think it's so just
exhausting.
Like on the bad end of the spectrum, it's about like, just straight up like making like casting doubt on a woman and saying like, she's a liar, she's crazy, you can't trust anything. I think on the less nefarious end of the spectrum, where you're talking about like internalized misogyny and all of these, to say it's less nefarious is weird, but it's just like, it's something that's probably more common and less noticeable. I think it's just not wanting to even admit that something could be true. Like you want it to go away. So you say like, why are you bringing this up now? Like, we're all getting along fine. Like, why are you trying to upset the apple cart now? And then it's like, well, fuck you. Like, it's not your apple cart. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad your apple cart's great. Mine's rotten, so let me do what I need to do with my apple cart.
What are apple carts?
I have no idea. I don't even know if apple carts really were ever a thing. I don't know why apple carts ever became so important. Apple carts apparently at one time were very important to the operation of society, and to upset one was like the worst thing that you could do.
You don't want to upset an apple cart.
Yeah, like it really fucking ruined your life if you upset an apple cart. People would talk about it for years. Like that Busy Phillips upset an apple cart in
she really did it
1654, and like we're still reeling from it to this day.
Oh my God.
Never really upset funny. An apple cart again.
Don't do it. Don't do it. What should we do, Caissie? What's our next move? What's our next move in life? What are we doing?
I think you just need to enjoy your time in South Carolina.
I don't know if I can do that. I really don't.
I think you're gonna enjoy your time in SC.
Okay.
And then we're going to do fun stuff. I mean, remember what the Medium told us, that we've been told that we don't have to rush anything. We have to play more and enjoy things more. Okay. And have fun more. And we've been talking about that a lot, about, how everything doesn't have to be a huge deal, and how things can be fun. And, like, it just has to be what we want it to be. And if we don't want something to be something, it doesn't have to be that. You know what I mean? Like, we can say no. And we were just talking about this the other day. Like, we were like, about a project that we're trying to work on. We're already like thinking ahead, like, what if they ask us to do this? And what if they ask us to do that? And what if they say we have to do this? And we're just like, then we say yes to what we want to say yes to, and we say no to what we don't want to say yes to. And if they say that they don't want to work with us, then fine.
And then we can say, okay.
Yeah.
But we don't want to work with you first.
It's like we're very lucky to do what we do. Yeah. And like, I want to make a living. I desperately want to make a living. But that's really all I want to do. Like, again, at this point, all I want to do is to like make a living and be happy and make the people that like what we do happy. And, if that's 6 billion people, amazing. But if it's 6 million people, amazing. If it's 600,000 people, that's also a really fucking lot of people, and like that is really lucky and really fortunate. And I'm really grateful for whatever level people want to pay attention to whatever we're making. Really grateful for that, and really grateful for people's time and attention and people's support. And I'm so grateful when people are like, when we've talked about like, people told us to shorten the podcast, and we were like, yeah, we don't really want to. Like, we think it's fun to like just talk and say what we want to say. And like hundreds of you guys were like, yeah, fuck that. Don't shorten the podcast. Like, don't. I don't want it to be short. I'm speaking up. I'm saying, no, don't shorten it. So
we didn't.
And we haven't.
As evidenced by the 3 hour.
We've only made it longer. And maybe
we've only made it longer. We maybe have gone too far. We've maybe gone too far.
We've maybe gone too far. And I'm sure you'll let us know. And once we see that pattern or once we feel that pattern, okay, we'll pull it back, but it's just like, you're the ones, you guys listening at home, you're the ones who we're in a partnership with. You know what I mean? You're the ones who've gotten us to where we are right now. So anything that anyone else is making as like a casual observation from like an office somewhere, like those people never say yes to us anyway. So like, what the fuck do we care what they think about how long we talk, or, like if we touch our hair or whatever we do, or whatever, if, we ate a banana in a meeting. That was just me.
We
policed ourselves on that.
That was just me laughing about you eating a fucking banana.
I'm saying meeting. if they judged us on that, if that like affected the outcome of that meeting.
I have to say, I've been thinking about because I was like thinking about that extra merch that I accidentally ordered from merch for Mark's birthday. I mean, it wasn't merch. It was,
March.
It was marked. Anyway, I was thinking about when we did the like live Busy Tonight show at the San Francisco Comedy Festival.
Yes.
And how fucking fun that was.
Yes.
And then I was like, should we do live pods? Should we do these like in person with people? Like 4 people?
Oh my God,
you
totally.
Guys, people at home.
Yeah.
You guys. Would you come to a show?
Would you
do that thing that people do? Lots of people do it. So many people do it. Podcast people, I mean.
Yeah. Would you come? Where should we do it?
I don't know if we should do it. Traveling's hard.
They'll let us know. Or maybe there's like an online version or something. We'll figure it out. People will let us know.
Okay, you guys let us know. You know how to do that, right? We have a way.
We have ways.
We have ways. But what is it? What are the ways? You tell me. There's an email. You can email us. It's
busydoingherbest@gmail.com.
There you go. It's really Caissie that reads them, just FYI. Sometimes she sends them to me, though, if they're really nice. But
I forward them to Busy. They're always usually very nice. Like 1 out of 1,000,000 is like a complaint, usually. So shout out to everyone sending us really nice emails.
What do people complain about? That it's too long?
No, usually it'll just be like we said like a wrong piece of information or something. So it'll be
duh.
Not
obviously
a complaint, but like a correction, which I'm like, hey, thanks for letting us know.
Oh, okay. Not in like
you should be in jail or anything like that.
You're a bad person.
Yeah, no, never that. Listen, I gotta let this lady take a nap because she is losing steam.
I'm not a napper.
I know, but I feel like you just like 10 minutes, a 10-minute.
No one's gonna let me do that in this house. No, it's not happening.
Pretend you're still doing the podcast.
Well, sometimes I do that, but I've been caught. I've been caught many a time, and it's
sleep holding the microphone.
It's like a George Costanza move.
And be like, this is a part of the podcast and you just ruined it. Now I have to do another take. So thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, guys. I don't know, Caissie. I'm going to try to get my shit together. I just have not been, I don't feel great. I just don't feel good. I'm depressed, maybe a little. I'm maybe a little depressed. I think that's okay.
I think it's okay. And I think that if you remain depressed, then we'll talk about what we can do about that.
Medication,
or, you're certainly getting exercise. So, but yeah.
Oh, maybe. I haven't. See, now we know. This is how we know I'm depressed.
All right.
I haven't, I literally haven't worked out in like
5 days.
I don't know. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sort of just like,
yeah.
I can't.
So no wonder you're
not
feeling. Yeah. No wonder you're not feeling like yourself.
I can't get it up.
You can't get it up to exercise.
Well, no, there's just too much fucking shit to do.
Yeah.
All the time. And like also being in this house is nice, but then it's also like dishes and laundry and towels and dishes. Do you know what I'm saying?
Let me tell you something. There will be dishes still after you go work out for 1 hour. There will still be towels after you go work out for 1 hour. Also, you have a 13-year-old, and 13-year-olds can do dishes and towels.
I mean, I don't think Birdie can, but yeah, I understand your point.
It's a great time to learn. Also, you have an 8-year-old, and 8-year-olds can do dishes and towels.
Well, yes. And actually, Cricket is a good helper. But also just like... All right. I'm going to go try to do something in my brain.
Yeah, get your brain going in the right direction.
Okay.
But Ashley Ray, thank you so much. SuChin Pak, thank you so much. Everybody at home.
You guys are both amazing.
We love you so much. Thanks for being here for the many moods. Busy Phillips is doing her best. We've really been through it. Really gave them a rainbow of emotions.
You know what, Casey? We are all doing our best.
We are all doing our best.
Mm-hmm. We are all doing our best.
It's true.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing my best.
Oh no.